doctor and stitch me up. I'm not finished, I'm not done. I am.
Baru Garnier Men Power White Tissue Mask. Wajah langsung cool, cerah seketika. Garnier Men Power White Tissue Mask.
Get It, enaknya daebak. Get It enak gila.
I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Feel like a dynamite, ready to explode right up in the sky. I need you to listen, I need you to hear, and don't show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.
Nightmares creep while you and me repeat. This bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire. suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire. Connect the dots straight to the start of intoxicating want. Lingering touch, these soft words whispered in the dark. Set my heart on fire.
Pas mau seru-seruan, ada aja yang nggak bisa dipegang. Tapi Pop nih bisa jadi pegangan.
Pas gak ada hiburan di jalan, untung ada Pop mie.
Sekarang cinta nggak bisa dipegang. Udah, sans aja. Ada Pop nih, tinggal seduh, bye baper.
Udah, jangan sedih. Move on dong. Pedes, Kak.
Rasanya enak parah. Udah 30 tahun sob, Pop nih jadi pegangan buat bikin mood seru terus.
Oke, bentar lagi kita nonton ESL, mantap. Kita nonton ESL. Kita nonton ESL. Nah, masih belum mulai sih, mulainya tuh jam 10, tapi nggak apa-apa lah, santuy dulu. Kedengaran nggak apa musiknya masih kegedean, cuy? Kedengaran lah. Jepretan T1 kemarin tuh, T1 lawan Virtus Pro. Kalau nggak salah comeback ya. Aduh, aus sih. Kenapa? Iya, kedengeran. Ya nanti.
Exciting as well. I know you can't wait. I can't wait either, so let's just get started.
Masih lama cuy, setengah jam lagi ini. Kan masih iklan-iklan dulu kan, opening Dota 2.
Now we're gonna have some playoff matches. We're gonna have two of them actually. We're gonna kick things off with the lower bracket series. Super exciting. We're gonna also have the upper bracket semifinals. Also super exciting. But I'm getting way ahead of myself because first we have to discuss so many other things, and I don't want to do those alone. I don't want to talk about things alone. I want to talk things about with my friends. Effie and Kyle, please help me out. Come on to my office.
Friends with strong word shoes.
Acquaintances.
We've only spent
Thank you, Effie.
hundreds and hundreds
My
of
friend
days
and
together.
my acquaintance are here to help me through this day of Lovely.
Very lovely.
Very lovely. Thank you. So the first thing that we have to do actually is talk about group stages. Because those are finished.
Kecilan ya.
Some of you might remember a long time
Seginilah.
ago, start of the group stages, everybody made their predictions as to who would win. And in the end, as you might know, VP and Beast Coast won their respective group A and B. And it's time for us to find out if anybody predicted that correctly, which I don't think we did.
It was also about predicting the tournament winner. Viewers at
Nanti
home.
malam jam
No, that's what we're
jam
gonna do
1
after.
itu ada
I
Virtus
already
Pro
did that.
versus
I gotta help myself.
ESL.
So we're gonna, this box doesn't have an opening other than the one that I'm gonna create right now. Which I can! Oh, I was really worried that I might not be able to. I have a whole stack of envelopes, guys. We're gonna go through them. I can't do that alone.
Sure.
Wait a second.
Here.
It's very good.
Need help?
Yeah, there we go.
I'll give it to the box.
No, the box is...
Usaha
the whole
kebab.
point.
Just trying to help.
Alright, you get 3.
Thank you.
You get 3. I have 2. Alright. Kyle, well, why don't you open the first one?
Sure. Let's see who's wrong.
Let's see what we
Getting all
got.
the wrong guesses.
Every talent at this.
Oops.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh,
Yeah.
I ripped it. Okay, this one's unsigned. Oh no, it says BSJ in very small letters. VP and PSG LGD. Wow.
He has one good. 50%.
What? Incredible predictions.
And
from
he was
BSJ. A
second.
real trailblazer.
Trailblazer. All right, you go next.
I hope it's not me. Kyle's prediction.
See how they're in friendly big letters as well?
The greatest team in the world, according to Kyle,
Yes.
Alliance.
Yes.
And T1.
Both in the lower bracket. So BSJ was more right than Kyle.
Don't count them out yet. Best team in the world.
Okay, I don't blame you guys for
How many
knocking us
talents are
over.
there? There's a lot of predictions.
Yeah.
Cap. Wow. LGD and VP. Again, copying
Synderen,
PSG.
T1, and PSG LGD.
Good choices. Although I think we didn't know that. I at least didn't know that Zhao 8 was.
No, you did.
Well, I did know.
You
We all
can't, you
knew.
can't get that.
We all knew.
But
We
it
all
makes me
knew.
look
We all
better.
knew.
We
We
all
made these
knew. That's what I believe.
predictions super last minute, so we all knew. What you got next, Effie?
I can't open it.
It's like you gotta rip it. Yeah. Sort of.
Okay. Last one.
Seaver,
Ooh.
T1, and PSG LGD.
You guys are all cheating off each other's home. Moxie, T1, PSG, LGD.
Okay.
I'm the only original mind here. And my
I got
predictions are both
T-Gov.
on lower bracket.
It's VP and PSG LGD, so it's the same as BSJ.
And
So
Cap.
so far, I got. So far, those are the best ones so far.
Did anybody say East Coast? I would assume no.
No, I don't think anybody said. Well, we are yet to find out. The last one is from
Me.
Beast Coast and VP. No, you can't lie. VP.
Oh, hang
And
on.
Viscous.
If you didn't, if there isn't a PSG,
T1 and
LGD,
PSG
Yeah.
LGD. Close
every
enough.
time we go off camera, I was just like, it doesn't matter. They're gonna win, even with
They
Zhao
are.
Wait.
Yeah.
They are gonna win.
Yeah.
They're the best team.
So nobody was correct.
I'm not surprised.
I'm correct. PSG LGD will win.
Okay. Well, you still have a shot because this was just the group stages.
But
So we ripped all these things apart.
it's not about being right or wrong, Jeeves. It's about it's about what's in your heart.
Welcome back to ESL
That's what your
1
mom used to
Fall
tell you. That's okay.
Bootcamp.
It's okay. We have second chances.
What is? Oh my god!
We have
Belum ada
another
ini ya.
box. For a second. That one we don't need anymore. Oh no, my necklace.
Done and dusted.
Need wardrobe.
The wardrobe.
We're losing.
And then I
Stay
have.
tuned later
new
on for
envelopes.
Virtus Pro.
I don't know what
Like-
these. Oh, these are the cards. Oh, I did it wrong. So we have new envelopes. Don't worry, we're gonna ask the other talent to do the same thing.
Okay.
T just dodged
Yeah,
us by
so you
legging
write-
it out of the studio.
That is right on the envelope.
No, like you write on the card.
Yeah, right on the card. T,
Kyle, stop. Stop.
you don't want to sign your prediction right
He's
now?
serving paper.
Have we
Turnamen.
get it over with?
Because we have to open it.
Yeah.
To do the
Yeah.
same thing that we just did.
But
Yes.
I did it already. I wrote
Kyle,
my prediction
no.
on the envelope. Like, why
Because we're
can't I
gonna.
do that?
That's what we're gonna rip up. Have you not seen how we open the envelope?
But now you. Okay,
Look,
fine.
You use this.
Fine.
I think we. No, I
No,
think
you
you
got.
keep it and you
guys,
just
guys,
fold
what are we
it.
doing here? What are we doing?
Lama sih.
Just do like
Tas
this.
dulu aja dah.
Put that in the thing.
I'll take this one.
Baterai HP-nya habis.
Give me one too,
It
please.
was.
What am I predicting? The winner?
Please.
Oh, sorry.
Am I predicting the winner?
You're predicting the winner of it all.
The winner.
The winner.
Easy.
You're the best around. We have to fold it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I get it now. I understand.
Oh no, the apple. Okay.
Final standingnya
You guys
nih
ever
grup
see the
A
thing
yang
with, like,
peringkat
La La Land
pertama
with the
Virtus
Oscars,
Pro,
the wrong
belum pernah
envelope?
kalah.
Just the winner?
Peringkat
Yes.
kedua Tundra,
And just the winner.
peringkat ketiga
Yeah, I
Team
have.
Spirit, peringkat keempat Creep Wave, peringkat keenam Thunder Predator.
I am writing down.
Di grup B-nya
Who I
ada
believe should
peringkat
be the
pertama
undisputed
Biscos, yang
tournament
kedua
favorites
PSG LGD,
on
yang
my
ketiga
card.
Alliance,
I am undecided.
yang
Do
keempat
I want?
Empire, yang kelima Liquid, yang
No, I know.
ketujuh
I gotta
SG
believe.
Esport.
Help.
T1 di mana T1?
Oops. And then I'm gonna fill in Brian's prediction because I know who he's rooting
Sayangnya yang
Oh,
ikut
you do
T1
you?
doang,
Yeah,
Galaxy
I talked
Racer
to him
nggak
before the
ikut
show.
coba.
I don't think you should do that unless you got confirmation that he indeed wants that.
Who'd you do?
Hmm?
Who'd you do?
for. There we go.
I chose VP. I think we all got someone different,
I
which
can
is
hear
nice.
You guys. The whispering doesn't work. The stream can hear you.
I know.
We are happy to
Oh, what a
have you
surprise!
here.
But nobody knows which envelope was mine in the
Welcome
end.
back to
other than the
ESL
fact that my
1
name
ya,
is on
bentar
it.
lagi sih. 20 menit lagi.
Like, what matter? What does it matter if I say who I choose or not? Nothing. That doesn't matter.
Ntar
Dude, that's not
kegedean ya.
sticky. You didn't stick it closed.
It doesn't. Now it's easier to open. Instead of having to rip it up,
I like the effect of ripping
now we
it
can
off. It's like-
reuse it.
Kita kecilin.
Look, these. I don't know about you. Do you know how much paper costs nowadays? It's like by the ream. Do you ever watch The Office? There's a lot of really.
Yeah, so we
interesting
might as well
economic-
use it. Otherwise, it's gonna get thrown away.
No, we'll use this next event.
Will we?
No one cares, Kyle. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, predictions are done. There was nobody that had the group stages predicted correctly, but as you know, Virtus Pro and Beast Coast, they nailed it. They won their groups, and therefore they are in the upper bracket. There's a couple more teams in the upper bracket, though.
Bikinin
Let's
minuman
take a
lagi
look
dong,
at that
au.
bracket to get you fully updated with what is happening. This
Terus sekarang ada
is the
di
upper bracket. We got
upper
VP,
bracket ya,
PSG,
Virtus Pro
LGD.
versus PSG
Tundra
LGD.
versus Beast
Tundra
Coast as the opening
Esport
series. Now,
Beast.
Tundra Beast Coast is tomorrow.
Biscos. Oh, yang
But
berarti yang
today-
sekarang di
We do have
Down
VP versus PSG,
bracket.
LGD, FE. I know you're just smiling
ya udah ya
thinking
itu
about
nggak
it.
apa-apa.
I'm really happy. We didn't catch many of their games the last few days on the main stream, so I couldn't watch it live in action, and it was very sad. But now, the game,
D game.
the series of the tournament is happening so early on.
Super early on, and we're also saying goodbye to a team today because lower bracket is playing today as well. Our
Sekarang
opening
lower
series is
bracket.
actually one of the lower
Nah, lower
bracket matches.
bracket itu
It's going to be Team Spirit versus
Team
Empire, which is a
T1
rematch
versus
of
Alliance.
the
Itu besok ya.
TI-10
Seru nih.
qualifiers.
Besok kita
Should
live
be hype
streaming
match.
lagi, bro.
And then T1 will also play up against Alliance, but that won't happen until tomorrow. But these 4 teams in the lower bracket
Yeah.
is hype.
Very shocked.
Semoga aja T1 nggak
the bottom
gugur
half,
pertama
but
dah.
it
Yang
is
penting
pretty
Indo Pride
stacked
aja
tournament. A
dulu.
lot of TI teams, a lot of
Yeah.
hungry squads.
Walaupun nggak ada tim yang gue
T1
dukung di sini.
Alliance though does seem a little bit
Mau di
advanced.
SEA, mau di Europe,
Comparison
mau
to
di
Spirit
US.
versus Empire, but some grudge here.
Yeah.
With Empire eliminated from the qualifier.
A little bit. I think it's a lot of bit at this point. It's going to be a good one, I think. Both teams know each other so well, which always takes a series to an extra level. And just for good order, here's the schedule for today. We're going to kick things off with Empire versus Team Spirit, and then move to our last series of the day, which is in the upper bracket. PSG LGD taking on Virtus Pro, which is the blockbuster of today. But to be fair, both series are blockbusters in their own right. And can't wait for Empire versus Team Spirit. And good news is we don't have to wait. Well, we have to wait maybe a little bit. What's Kyle?
No, it's pretty poetic. You know, Spirit's
Yeah.
logo being a dragon, then Empire the knight on the charging steed. I think it's
Is it a dragon at the moment, Spirits?
Yeah,
Spirit is a dragon, but
look, it's
yeah.
canon.
Cool. Thank you. And we'll have a break and then we'll talk more about the series.
Tim Speed. Line up dari tim Secret. Team Empire, Team Spirit versus Team Empire. Iklan dulu, bro. Masih lama sih, berapa menit lagi ya? 10 menit lagi lah baru mulai dia. Iya ya, kalau misalkan jualan di Bali, jualan kebab, dagingnya daging babi. Kalau sapi nggak boleh. Nggak mungkin daging ayam. Daging kambing aja jadi. Daging kambing aja jadi rendang kok. Dibuatin Lord Adi. Memang Lord Adi itu terbaik.
Opening series of today, ESL 1 Fall Bootcamp edition powered by Intel's got a lower bracket series coming your way. First series of the playoffs, it is Team Empire taking on Team Spirit. You might be thinking, hey, that's not that long that I thought I saw these two playing against each other, and you'd be right, because these two teams played against each other in the Grand Finals, best of 5 of the TI-10 qualifiers for the Eastern European region, and it was close. It was very, very close. It turned out to be a 3-2 in favor of Team Spirit, meaning Spirit goes to TI, Empire does not, and they're hungry for revenge, Effie.
Yeah, it's gotta feel bad for Empire, because the finals went to a best of 5, right? They were so close, and they just couldn't make it. And now they're playing against the same team, and if they lose, for the win.
Definitely, and I gotta say, as somebody who has lost in a BO5 final, in 5 games, a couple of times, one of which was TI, it sucks. It feels really, really bad.
You're so close to being a millionaire in your head,
Yeah,
right?
because there's no second place. Like, you don't get a damn thing.
You don't get you don't get anything.
exposure and
ESL,
experience.
Esports,
The other team
Monopoly,
gets to go
English
play
and
for
German
what, like
edition,
15, $16
double-sided.
million first place.
Yeah,
this
with
year?
a guaranteed already, like even going makes you enough for the year, right? It feels like even if you
we are kicking
just
off the
make it
playoff with
top
the
18,
Team
top
Spirit
16.
versus
Wild
Team
to think
Empire
about,
up
like,
next.
one
Iya,
game.
sekarang nih.
a minimum of like 200K.
Yeah.
Like, it's my lifetime earnings from Han. It's just better win this game in the qualifier. So yeah, I think Empire really probably the series of the tournament for them,
Yes.
just as a form of redemption. Although, do you feel worse if you win this series and you're like, we did it,
Yeah, what would you?
but a little too late?
I would feel a little bit of redemption because obviously you already made peace with the results of the qualifiers. Would you be extra like you still want to win? You want to show that you can do it.
No, you definitely want your
Yeah.
revenge. There's no way. And I think for a lot of these players, it's not even about money. It's just about people who love to compete at the highest level hate to lose. Like that feeling
Can't
of
confirm.
loss
Yes.
that just sits in your stomach. That sucks.
That does suck, and unfortunately for Empire, they had to have that feeling a little bit during the group stages already because both of these teams, of course, here in the lower bracket. Let's start by talking about Team Spirit. They are a team that we have seen so much throughout the DPC season as one of the teams that we've seen improve steadily as time went on. And I don't know, did we have higher expectations from them for them to be here in the lower bracket? Were we thinking they were gonna get higher than that? I mean, they had a somewhat tough group.
The group was stacked.
Yeah, the group is stacked for sure. The entire tournament is stacked, right? I didn't have Spirit, even though they're one of my favorite teams. I didn't have them as my upper bracket predictions at all. So I think they performed consistently and they performed well, and they were creative and they had their approach to each series that they played. It's just that I feel like especially when they're playing against other Eastern European teams like VP or like Empire, as we're about to see, they're so intimately acquainted with one another that they just don't do well, right? Because I don't feel like Team Spirit is a team that would get 2-0'd by VP if they hadn't been playing all the time versus each other, because they do very well against other teams. Like they 2-0'd T1, who won the last ESL tournament.
Yeah, but that was also day one, Team 1. They turned it up a little later. I think Spirit,
Still.
they're very
Still.
consistent. Like, I would disagree. Like, I just don't think Spirit right now are going to beat teams like Virtus Pro, are going to beat teams like PSG LGD. Like, they're consistent, and they
They're not
will
the
beat,
best.
like, teams that they're better than, for lack of a better phrase. But if you look at the hero pools, they're a little more like puddles for the squad, and I just don't see
don't
them
think
taking like that
Aja
next
dulu,
step.
bentar lagi
Love
juga mulai.
Mapochka, but I think he has to play the more advanced hero
5
pool
menitan
that a lot of
lagi lah.
legendary captains
5
will
menit.
do.
Speaking of Miposhka, we actually had the chance to sit
5
down with
menit
him
tuh, enggak, 3
very
menit aja
recently
tuh.
where he talks. He was happy about the group stages and he was happy with the results.
Right now, after group stage, we're feeling fine. Our last two series against Creepwave and Thunder Predator was fine. We played pretty well, in my opinion.
There's the Berserker's call. We
Dukung
Also,
mana?
we find some
Dukung
strategies right
apa
now,
ya?
some
Tim
good
Spirit
picks for
kali
us.
ya, tapi kita
So
lihat aja dulu deh.
I guess it's gonna be
Sekarang mah.
easier to play.
trying to kill off Leo style. The TP will come out in time. Leo will not die to this, but Minos is the most important target. He got caught with Berserker's call, and yet Toto's now hitting him with that Scotty. Minos is not making it back home.
We played against Team
Sebenarnya gue
Empire,
dukungnya
some
T1
Wars.
si T1 tapi
We
kan
played
lagi nggak
against them
main karena di situ kan ada
when
Indo
Patch
Pride.
comes out. Yeah, so
T1
it's
tuh mainnya
just some
besok
games,
di
and
lower
right now I
bracket.
don't really know what we can expect, but we're gonna prepare for them.
Itu
We
masih
will
lower
watch
bracket sih,
their
nanti
drafts,
upper bracketnya
what
ada
they
di
draft
jam
already
1
and the
dini
tournament.
hari.
Something like this. I'm actually shocked because I can't even understand why this prize is there. It's more like anti-achievement, you know? Okay, so I would like to do a line trick shot
Baterainya habis
on
bro.
the international 10. Because it's so hard actually to do. I tried a lot to do this.
Toronto
He wants to do a
Tokyo,
line
iya
trick
sih
shot. What's a
GG
line
si
trick
Toronto
shot?
Tokyo.
Very hard to do. What is it?
Keren
I
juga
believe it's
nickname-nya
when you
dua
do a
kotak.
360, and then
The finger.
yeah. I don't know. I'm
besok
not at
tuh
that level. I'm
jadwalnya
just
di
trying to
upper
like
bracket ada
land kills.
Biscos
I'm not quite advanced enough to do the 360 spin
Apa tadi?
first.
Okay.
Lupa
Well, he
gua.
says he's also preparing for Team Empire, looking at their draft, looking at how they played. And we're going to do the same thing, looking at their draft, looking at how they played. Team Empire has had a 3-5 score or something like that, or at least that's not true. 4 to 6. Yeah, because they tied with everybody apart from with the Lions, and they tied also with Team Liquid, who they then were able to push down to elimination by the Neustatel rules. But it's not the cleanest way for them to get
Mantap.
into the lower bracket, which is something that I'm sure they're gonna be not happy with, as we will also be able to hear from Vanspor.
Smiling naik, depressed kid.
I think
Sayur.
we're not
Oh bukan.
in our best
One
shape
score ini
right
dari
now.
tim Empire,
Some of
bro.
those draws, like 1-1, could be 2-0 to our score, especially like 2SG game in
Yo, kalian
the
dukung
first
mana?
game we played like we let them pick Omni Knight and Sven. The team have a 100% win rate with
Iya sih
this
di
combo.
7.30
So it was like
tuh
our mistake on draft and
Omni
our
naik
mistake in game.
imba parah dia.
And I don't know
Susah
if that jump was
dibunuh.
correct from Mika. He's in the high gut, but he's kind of stuck here. Chain Frost comes out. Mika is dead. They also caught Insania, sorry. So they're gonna kill both of them. Boxy in trouble. He tries to TP, not gonna be successful. And Light Striker Ray takes him down. Empire just baited Liquid.
The match versus Stem Spirit will be our revenge after TI qualifiers. We are not in our best shape right now, but we'll
Jadi
try our
ajang
best.
balas dendam di
Our
T1 qualifier
coach
tuh tadi katanya.
He's totally drafting for us, like what to pick, what our preference is, but mostly he
Mereka harus
decides
persiapan dari mulai
which hero
draft
to pick, which
pick,
hero to ban. We'll see what
hero-hero yang
happens
di
tomorrow.
pick dan hero yang di ban. Kayak gitu. Itu kunci kemenangan buat mereka
This is
lah.
my hero. He's helping me a lot. Cat, I don't remember her name. It's Natasha maybe.
Tuh apa
I
namanya?
just watch
Boneka.
her sometimes and
Boneka
can
kunci,
relax
jimat
after the
katanya
game.
mah. Gitu.
I like it. In lack of the real thing, have a fluffy. At least that wasn't that fluffy. Have a pillow with a cat on it. I'm sure that will help him de-stress a little bit. But let's talk about Team Empire, because this team, you know what? The fact that I made it
I
to
don't
the
know what.
qualifiers for TI, made it all the way to the finals, and had that close series with Team Spirit, I was a little bit
Team
surprised about
Spirit
that,
itu
considering
masuk
their
ke
DPC run.
T1 nggak sih? TI?
I was too, but this shows that they can compete at a very high level, and they can hit a stride where they perform very well. It's just that, like, with the results of this tournament and the last DPC season, it seems like it takes them a while to actually get to that point where they're just
Coba kita cari
hitting the
dulu
ground running.
TI
Yeah, slow
10.
burn, but
For sure.
maybe they've hit their stride. Again, I feel for Vanskar. Like I've been there. I
TI
can see
10
he does have a point.
tim.
Like some of the losses they had in groups were a lot of unforced errors, and it's still a really young team. So again, not going to TI, but I think that they're still going to be guys with a lot of potential. Vanskar, of course, been around
TI
forever.
10
Since
tuh
before the
FL
BZZ
Geniuses,
Pugnace days.
LGD,
Way before.
Virtus Pro,
That's a good
Quincy
metric.
Crew,
Great metric.
He was at
Invictus
TI1, I think. I
Gaming,
could be wrong.
T1,
Could
TC
be. We're gonna
Gaming,
we can
Quincy
look that
Crew,
up if you want.
Team
We can look that
Aster,
up because we have some time to do that. We're gonna go to a quick break, but when we're back, it is
Biscos,
drafting time for
Thunder
Empire versus Spirit.
Terus ada Andaying dari regionalnya, Andaying, SG Esport, OG, Team Spirit, Raven, PF Natic. Oh, Team Spirit masuk cuy. Jadi mereka si Empire tuh nggak masuk di kalian Team Spirit bro. Neng aku mau ngecas dong motoknya. Begitu.
Don't know what to do, how to do it. Know that I should leave,
Harusnya udah mulai
but I
draft pick sih
hate
abis ini.
it.
Seharusnya. Ya biasa lah, kan ngaret-ngaret seringnya.
It's just too hard to move when you're standing right there. It's just too hard to walk away and leave it like that. Can we give it one more night? Just one more night. One more night.
Mana kita ngecas? lagi cuy. Masih lama sih. Harusnya abis ini langsung grafik. Lagi cuy, sabar aja dulu. Nah kan harusnya nih udah langsung grafik nih.
Here we go. Elimination on the line. This is where you'll see teams bring out everything that they have learned over the group stages. And better yet, these two teams so intimately familiar with one another. We're gonna see this series taken to another level, hopefully. Anyway, so first game is coming your way. We are about ready to show you the draft as well. An interesting thing to note is that Empire, with first priority, selected first pick, even though second pick has been favored. But we've seen a shift here and there. And then it was, hey, he didn't have blue hair 2 days ago, right?
Turn it up.
Cutie pie.
You gotta step it up for the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
And I will say, blue hair, Sumail, you know, he found a lot of
Sure.
success
Blue hair
after the change.
Sumail, bukan
Ramses
Cuk.
as well.
Bukan Sumail.
Guys.
I think Ramses went for green.
I gotta
Bisa
say
aja jokes
something. Like,
bapak-bapak.
throughout the tournament, we've constantly talked about how second pick
Leeds
just seems
langsung
better
di-pick.
than first pick.
Mati
So I was
Empire.
wondering, why did Empire, who are on the verge of being eliminated, go for first pick when they really want to win against Spirit?
Yang udah di
I
ban
was
dari tim
thinking to
Spirit
myself, what
nge-ban
could they
Poker
potentially,
Lina.
which pick do they need
Dari
so
Empire nge-ban
strongly that
Yes.
they would give up second pick?
KOTL
And
sama
it's a
Magnus.
Lich.
Yes.
I don't get
I
it.
like
Di
Lich.
second
I don't
I
pick.
mean,
Udah di pick Mars.
it's not really
Mars ini
picked.
bisa
In
jadi
fact,
di mid
I
sih
don't
kalau
know
kata
if
gua mah.
Empire have even played it so far in this tournament.
Yeah, they played it twice with varied results. There was one win for when they played against Liquid and a loss when they played against SG. But like, it's not like, oh my god,
What are the
Lich,
changes?
we
The-
got you now.
The new shard, is it the shard or the Aghanims that you can channel
Oh,
Sinister
udah di
Gaze
pick Lion
and
nih
also cast
buat
your
tim
spells?
Spirit. Nah, yang kedua
Yes.
Okay, well,
Di
I don't
pick
think
Sven.
that, huh?
Sven-nya
It's
itu
Aghanims. Wow, okay. That's
di
the shard is the
offlane.
ice
The Ice Spire.
that also bounces
Pak.
your
Okay,
ultimate.
Ice
ban
Spire is
sama tim
cool.
Empire.
like
I
it
don't know
too.
if being able to cast your 2 other spells while you're channeling Sinister Gaze is worth.
Well, just
I mean, it's a
All that gold.
lot of money.
Right.
it.
Very weird.
What about the Lich Fen combo though? Because that makes it maybe a little bit better. Then you have some nice
Yeah,
extra
sih, dia
armor for
combo
that
sama
Sven.
ini sih.
But okay, but
We'll
hear me out.
talk about it.
Mas
Wouldn't
Sven juga di combo
You feel more confident if, let's say,
Bad
like
Rider
Lich,
udah di ban sama
makes the
Terror Bear
carry
udah di ban.
stronger, keeps him alive. There's other heroes in the
ngantuk.
pack,
Dude,
like
Sinister
Omni-Knight.
Gaze is like 1 second
Misalnya
long.
jam
Like,
berapa?
why do you need
Coba
4k
jam
gold to
4
cast
jam
spells
5
during a
udah
1
ngantuk.
second?
No,
Jam
he's
4
describing
cuy.
an Omni Knight at the
Yeah.
moment
Oh.
that was available
Oh,
as well.
They're talking about
It's
Lich.
just way more chill, You just like, here's the thing. I don't want to say that easier heroes are better,
Cheers,
but
minum sama.
consider Sir Action Slacks. He literally became an immortal Dota player, spamming 5-position Omni-Knight. I'm
Warlock.
not surprised that the professional scene has finally caught on.
He spammed Warlock.
He's trend-setting
Gua
for
pakai
sure.
kacamata dulu
Let's
cuy.
talk about these openers really quickly before we run out of time. But Lich Sven, Like Shiva was actually saying, isn't it nice that he's got a Sven to buff up? Sure. I guess with the added War Cry and Frost armor, that's a lot of armor.
That's a lot of armor.
And obviously, like, Lich has his armor on towers that you can do in this meta that seems to favor a lot of Zoo-type heroes.
True.
So it is valuable in the first phase in that regard. I just have to see what they want to do with it so I can, like, fully understand it better. Because they wanted this Lich so much that they first picked it.
Yep.
So we're about to see what kind of game plan they have for it. It's gonna be something. Just finish Mars line real quick.
It's pretty standard. It's like straight. This is kind of Spirit to a T. You know, Collapse Mars is insane. He has some of the best mechanics that I've seen on that hero. And you know, VP opened with this all throughout, like both DPT seasons. This is Eastern Europe bread and butter. Really strong offlane dual lane, ton of lockdown, ton of damage, burst and control for later in the game. And I actually don't see Lich, to your point, Effie, as an answer to Zoo. Because while, sure, you can shield the tower, that's just kind of delaying the inevitable.
Right.
And you're very weak against heroes like Visage, like Lycan, really Beastmaster, anything that buys HOD, because you can't clear creeps. Your Chain Frost just gets absorbed by the Zoo. It's like if you were being attacked by a flock of pigeons and you just threw birdseed everywhere, like there'd be too many.
Sure, but again, they're going heavy on the armor here with Warcry and Frost armor, right? So maybe they just want to pick these durable run-at-you heroes, Sven being their favorite one this tournament so far. They keep doing these Sven drafts, and perhaps this is their way of figuring out what works best with this hero, and that's what they're doing here. So Wyvern, nerfed hero, for sure. She's been a lot less potent in what she does, and I still think she's been played to success, right? Because she still does fit a niche very well when you're playing against all this heavy physical damage. You do want to be able to stop that, right? And if you curse any hero next to this Sven who's God Strength, he'll probably die. Also, another nice added benefit is when Sven, who is so dependent on his BKB, turns it on, runs in, boom, you can just curse him and buy that like extra few seconds for your team to kite that BKB.
The nerfs don't really prevent Wyvern from being good situational. It was just previously, like before the tune, like AA Wyvern you could just pick, like they're always good. Whereas now, you gotta be a little more crafty about it. But ultimately, to your point, you know, BKB's hero is the enemy core. It's all physical damage. Like Wyvern just, you know, it's the answer to Sven. Has been for some time. I like this from Empire because the game now has shifted a bit. If you go into some 5-on-5, you know, and you try to fight it Revolutionary War style, walk at each other, your team is going to lose. You've got to utilize a vision advantage, flanking, more of a guerrilla style.
I have a question.
Find the supports.
But also, this makes the Lich pick more understandable too, because I was saying maybe what they're going for is having these durable run-at-you heroes that they can just buff up.
So my question is regarding that, because when they played Lich the other two times, they also played it together with the Night Stalker, and they also had a Shaker in the same game. Like, is there anything in particular that you're like, oh yeah, that combination is actually really good together?
I think Lich or Omni Knight or any kind of support that gives you a buff is very good with things that we've seen. Like you can put all your cards in one basket, so to speak, and just have them run in. I remember we were watching. Which team was it that played the Slark with the Omni? But they also brought in an Engine Crystal Maiden. We were like,
the Engine, the Crystal Maiden. Yeah, I remember that. Didn't go well, but it was T1, I think.
T1.
I want to say it was T1.
You're right, but there's an idea here that one hero can actually be strong enough to completely lead a team fight. So I think that it works very well with Night Stalker in particular. So we're gonna see how it plays out for sure, but I like it so far. I honestly think Empire's draft has a very clear idea of how it wants to be played right now.
And what is interesting, because Spirit, they're saving their last pick for Toronto Tokyo, and they actually banned out two of his staples. The Ember and the Void Spirit right off the bat. And when I think about Toronto Tokyo, like these are like that's his bread and butter. He plays Spirit heroes, so I don't mind a Storm. It's not ideal against Night Stalker, but I feel like that might be just like their go-to. We've seen Quap picked up. And I'm a little concerned for Monkey King and Wyvern in a lane together. Yes, you're going to be favored against Night Stalker, but I think at nighttime you just get ran at.
I think you can, but Monkey King got a lot of nice quality of life changes, and I think even at night, so long as his first few minutes go well, he shouldn't struggle too much versus Night Stalker. Actually, I think this Night Stalker Willow won't overpower the Monkey King, given that there's no extra rotation. But maybe that's what Empire is going to be looking to do: get that extra rotation and just pressure this monkey early. So that adds a lot of sense for these spirit heroes being banned, because these heroes excel at rotating with rune spawns.
That's a really good point, actually, because you look at the lineup for Empire, like Lich doesn't really want to, like, you can same time, when you pick a Night Stalker, I feel like you almost need to have a ranged 4. Like if they go an Earthshaker, as an example, they're just setting themselves up for utter failure in their off lane, because they'll only be able to pull creeps. Like a Night Stalker daytime without a support right-clicking to help is just going to just lose their lane. And Wyvern, not really the greatest laner.
Duo Spirit di ban ya, emang lagi.
So Storm OD bans, they're just target banning the heroes that each team likes to play, and Empire is one of the only teams that's tried out OD this patch so far. I don't think we've seen other teams play OD yet.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so either.
Yeah. It's really nice against Wyvern. Even if you're embraced, obviously you're just jamming damage in with the orb, and if you can get an Astral off on the curse target, it's just super nice. Kind of gives you this scary way to play around the team fight, because if you look at Spirit right now, they're all about the big cooldowns. They're going to open, they're going to have an arena, they'll have a curse, and of course the Wukong, so disrupting that combo is going to be very effective.
So I think Empire needs to just run. They can't draft a high cooldown in their last pick, because every time they take a fight in the Wukong's arena, they're not going to win it. Wukong's arena is one of the hardest things in Dota to play into. Even if you're playing from behind, it's just so much damage. So let's see what's like left in the pool. Queen of Pain works. Yeah, she works. Yeah. She works here. It's just that they have last pick on Spirit.
It's like what's best left, right? I mean, Spirit banned out 6, 7 mid heroes if you count Bat, and then of course Puck, TA, and Razor removed from Empire. So there's really just nothing doing there. It's nice against Monkey. You just blink right out of the Wukong in a way, but you give Spirit last pick. This is the danger of taking first pick. They had the response with the Monkey, and now you're going to be able to respond directly to the mid hero, and they do just that with the Viper. Very annoying for a quad to play against. You just get out traded, out harassed. Viper can push a lane much faster than you can as well.
Well, the new Queen of Pain does. I think that Spirit's teamfight and ease of execution is there. Empire's draft seems harder to pull off, but it does have a lot of merits if they can get the ball rolling.
My big concern is like lack of tower pressure. Your whole game is kind of in the hands of Smiling Knight, and yeah, Depressed Kid. Like it, you know, it just playing co-op in games where you have to make moves feels really rough, because typically you see mid players like they're taking runes, they're farming their easy camp, maybe doing a little stack. He's gonna feel like he's got to always be doing something, and it's very easy as a co-op to just have that 1 or 2 death. Like, not even a mistake, just, you know, you blinked in, you end up getting killed. It's like ruins your entire game. So be curious to see, does he like rush Orchid? Will he be able to find these supports? But either way, yeah, I think Spirit's got a big edge and just a much easier gameplay to execute.
And on paper, they're the better team as well, and that means Team Empire's got some proving to do. They got to out-execute Team Spirit. Can they do so? It's game 1 of a best of 3, and we're heading over to a fresh face. It is Shannon. Sunsfan is in the studio right now, and he'll commentate this match with T-Gov.
I don't think anybody has described me as being a fresh face, but I guess I'll take it. Sunsfan here with T-Governor, and we have an interesting match. But before we get into it, T-Governor, I need to tell this story. We were at the last ESL together, and he was supposed to cast with me on many occasions. He actually dodged me several times, and now you're being forced to be with me.
Yes.
How does that feel?
You're like the gateway play-by-play, where if I cast with you, then the only next step after that is maybe a slats cast. So I'm just scared of him more than you. So now that I'm with you, it's, you know, the imminent next event, you know. So that's why I dodged you. But now,
Okay, fair
It's
enough.
only downhill from here, buddy. Only downhill from here.
That's a good way to look at life in general.
I know,
if I'm being
great.
honest. But yeah, we have Team Spirit versus Team Empire in this best of 3. What are your thoughts on these drafts?
Oh, well, they got a smoke first of all. We get to see quite a lot.
That's right. We're going to see some action. A Stormhammer to start things out with the Bramble coming out as well. But a big boundless strike onto 3. The Nether Toxin is doing a lot of damage. They'll collapse. We'll pop that Fairy Fire. Will stay alive just on the outskirts here. Frostblast down to Yatara. Looks like Empire is now on the retreat. And they are very worse for wear as the Earth Spike will be there. And finally, the first blood should come to Mira for Team Spirit.
Whew. Yeah, we've been seeing this a lot in the tournament so far, that these teams love to do these 5-on-5 smokes, or at least try and just posture and get that early advantage, and Spirit come out on top this time. Draft-wise though, I actually, I like the creativity of Empire, because they're the only team in the tournament to come in and just first pick a Lich. And in what world do you ever go, oh, that's nice? But no, they first pick a Lich, they then go for a Sven, which I believe Spirit actually, in an interview, phrased that they don't like picking Sven first phase themselves because it's so easy to counter, and they've done it this game with the kite of the Winter Wyvern, the Viper for the slows. Like, they've got a nice ways to deal with it. So it will be interesting if Empire, with the confidence of first pick Lich into then Sven, if they have a game plan around it. I think I actually kind of like Empire's draft a little bit more, just because it looks a bit more fun.
Okay, that's usually not a good way to rate a draft, but you're outcasting with me, so I will accept that as a correct answer.
Thank you very much.
As we see a little Earth Spike action here, but I want to talk about mid lane just a little bit. Obviously, Viper not the most exciting hero, but just a lane dominator, as it were. Queen of Pain in this last patch. Shadow Strike heals her.
Crazy.
Tell me about this skill. Is it good? It sounds really good.
On paper, it's going to sound good, but I think into a Viper, it's just not going to be enough, right? Yeah. The poison attack, the fact that you're just going to be able to continue chip her down, and as well. Yeah, it's a nice quality of life change for her, but it's not going to be like, I can now lane into a Viper style good.
Right. I mean, it just feels like over time, Ice Frog's like, you know what? Queen of Pain hasn't been in the meta for too long. I mean, she was in the meta for like a month or two when they introduced talents. Remember that 25 talent, the spell lifesteal? Ever since then, it's just dropped off a cliff.
Yeah, and also, like, we're talking about daggers. If she's got it, she's level 2, doesn't even have it. Maybe skills it at 3, but
yeah, I mean, against corrosive skin, it does feel kind of bad.
Exactly.
Definitely has to go for a little bit of an awkward build here, but we'll see how her rotations come about.
And the panel, they were mentioning the idea of, Night Stalker, Willow, and how Monkey King will fare. And I think this lane actually goes really well for Empire, just because you have that Winter Wyvern factor. The hero is very weak in lane. You are tied into your Arctic Burn to be your big damage dealer. So I think as long as Empire is able to keep the lane near their tower, they're going to be okay.
And what are your thoughts on Monkey King as a position one these days? Because in the last patch, it was terrible, to put it. Well, that was bluntly, I suppose. But now you have some changes. We talked about the shard a little bit off camera, that you can use Mischief as kind of an actual dodge, and then they gave some quality of life improvements from the previous shard, if you want to call it that, with the leap, the cast time and whatnot.
I think we've seen in the tournament how it's gravitated to a lot more fighting, and I think especially because you're laning into the Night Stalker, like, you want a hero that can maybe go for like a Diffusal Blade, apply more slows to this hero. I think Monkey King, he's a very good laner, and I think that will be able to offset the weaknesses of Wyvern, which might kind of put you in. And I think the main thing is, heroes like Luna, like Spectre, they have fallen off a little bit. Oh, actually, a lot in that patch. Thank goodness indeed. So, like, heroes like Monkey King, they're going to have a good time, because laning into, like, melee style cores where you want them to jump on top of you, put that Wukongs down, and then they can't escape, you're going to look pretty good. So it's, again, Dota's that game where if your hero doesn't get buffed, but other heroes get nerfed, suddenly your hero looks so much better. And that's like, for example, Sand King. Like, he's the biggest winner right now in the patch, and his changes like weren't too drastic to make him like do more damage with Ultimate. It's just
I've actually found a flaw in your logic here. Visage. Just never relevant.
Thank God. I hate that hero, and I'm happy that as the ecosystem of Dota, evolves and changes, that hero is able to stay just bad.
Definitely not the most exciting concept in the world, but
ooh, I've got birds.
Totally
I dropped birds.
I mean, if you look at the mid lane now, though, for Toronto, Tokyo, 18-10 versus the 13-2 depressed kid.
Udah beli battle lagi dia,
masih ada battle. Viper taking a bit of a hold here. As Vanscore is going to get taken out in the top lane.
Dapat kill.
So another kill for Team Spirit here.
Very much in top lane for Empire. We haven't really mentioned it yet, but this is going to be the weakest lane that they can present, because even though Corp's into Viper, a Lich Sven lane into the kill threat of a Mars line, like, it is so strong. Mars hasn't got a good win rate so far in the tournament, but the simplicity of kill in their lane, where it's like stun, stun, death, it's going to be very, very good for them. So yeah, the fact that Sven's not dying here, that's the key thing. Like Lich can die 2-3 more times in this lane, and Empire will still be pretty happy because that's how like weak their lane is on paper.
Yeah, you can see some pressure being applied to collapse, but an Earth Spike from Mira is going to put that to an end. I mean, what are your thoughts on Sven as a whole for this patch?
It's very good. You know, like the idea that Luna suddenly disappears from the meta. Of course, Spectre as well disappears. Like you need that kind of farming style of core that some teams like to run, and Sven fits the bill. Like when you look at the patch notes, and most people were really upset when you go to general changes, and it was like 4.5 bullet points, of which 2 of them for like drafting. You're going to be pretty upset, and that's why these big junglers are still going to be pretty happy. Stacks won't change, neutral camps won't change.
Yeah,
gold distribution wasn't
I feel
changed.
like if you're a month away from TI, that's to be expected. Like
no, for sure. Like as soon as
the general public definitely had that reception.
Exactly, and I had that too. Like when I first loaded up, I was really upset, but then I realized, wait, we got like this $40 million tournament a month away. You can't suddenly make the game like last 70 minutes long because you accidentally tweaked the goal too much or something.
Oh, that would be great. I'd love 70-minute games.
You want
the tier 5 items really make me happy.
You want TI to run until like 2024, just never ends because Spirit and Empire
Sounds
sitting
good to me.
game 1.
Yataro, able to dodge the bramble there and leap up onto the tree, so we'll be good to go. Shashla, this is Night Stalker's not a hero we've talked about.
No, not really.
But is the offlane this game? We'll see how that ends up working out for him.
The main reason for the pick this game was the fact that he can always isolate the line and the web. It'll be interesting what build he goes. So far we've seen Night Stalkers go for Echo Saber. They sometimes disassemble that into them BKB, keeping a casual Oblivion. But yeah, like the Echo Saber allows you just to keep fighting. And of course the change is 7.3.
Oh, depressing. Wow, what a bait. Very forcing the blink out, and Toronto Tokyo is just waiting there as his disgusting beetle, which is literally the worst cosmetic in the game, by the way. Just need to say that out loud. It really bothers me, actually. It looks like an insect.
So that was like, you know, the pub you played the other day, where the Storm's orchiding the Venge and not, you know, that's the same concept, you know. They're not both going from the same angle, they go from multiple angles to, you know, bait out the blink.
Yeah, very smart indeed.
That's just for me and you to understand. No
that's an inside joke that nobody will understand at all. Top lane.
That's perfect.
Absolutely. Stormhammer comes out. And, into the Sinister Gaze. Collapse taking heavy damage and will be taken out as a result. But looks like Mira will be fine thanks to this TP. Sonic Wave, never mind, from afar. TP was cancelled, but able to clean up 2 as a result.
Yeah, really nice rotation from the Quap, and that is how you need to recover your game. When you're in this Viper who's able to stand on your high ground and keep annoying you, of course, and gets that solo kill, you need to see the Quap make that move, get the value on the ultimate. As we're going to see a replay here.
The impact move, the Sonic Wave. You could tell he didn't really want to use it. It's like, all right, I guess I'll have to if we're going to ensure this kill.
It feels pretty bad, but you know, you kill off Nero. Nice little slow-mo there just to watch him die a little bit slower, but yeah. That is kind of what's going to bring Quap back into the game, because if you check the net worth, Quap's now actually top net worth. The CS, you're down by 11, but of course Viper is farming the small camp, and then Quap gets two kills. That's going to be much bigger in the economy for him.
All right, I'm going to make this a new thing in my casts. Whenever somebody gets a pig pull, I'm going to announce it, even though it's only a tier 1 item.
It's one of the best items.
Empire has a pig pull. I just want to let everybody know that. Okay, we have an Earth Spike to start things out. Collapse with the spear into the trees. Do they have enough actual damage to finish it off? He's actually going to pop his ult, is the Sven, and try to go onto this with that Stormhammer. A nice impale onto 2, though. And it looks like it's going to stop them in their tracks. Smiling Knight very low, and the spear is actually going to finish him off. And now the Mars Arena comes through. Van Score stuck inside, and that is a double kill for Collapse. So maybe a bit of miscalculation on Empire's side.
For sure, with the Night Stalker, instantly popping ultimate.
Attempting to TP, but the root with that bramble is enough. So they do find at least some sort of consolation on the other side of the map.
I don't know if you noticed during that engagement as well, Team Spirit, Monkey King, he's tipped his line as well. Like they're very PMA tippers. The meta of tips in the tournament is very much enabling each other, saying good job, good stun, rather than the offensive one. Because in this moment, you tip the Sven, easy for back, he popped his ult to try and get a kill.
I understand why that would kind of come full circle, but at the same time, they're in the same room, I assume? Are they boot camping?
Team Spirit is boot camping, correct, yes.
So they could say this out loud, and save their tips
Masih
for the
dapetin
enemy,
wasit.
right?
Exactly.
That's what doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I just feel like they're really wasting a key component of Dota right now.
But maybe they're just not toxic, which I've never encountered myself.
No, but
in a
like,
game of
no,
Dota.
but like when you tip an opponent, you're not being toxic. You're just
They're
going,
timid,
please
they're
get
timid,
something
they're
for your bad play. Like I'm giving you some incentive to play
Okay.
better. I want
so that's
competition.
How that's why you tip so much in
Moody
these
games.
games.
Yeah, no,
Nice.
yeah, of
Tahu
course. Yeah,
It makes perfect sense.
you're bribing your enemy to play
Oh,
better.
datang
Toronto,
layannya.
Tokyo,
Temen-temennya
level
datang
8
tuh.
in
CRT
the mid
datang,
lane
coy.
right now, and despite that kill, still actually he's
Dia
getting
masih ditahan
outfarmed by the
creepnya.
Queen of Pain by a decent amount now, surprisingly.
It's simply
Emang
to
sih
the fact
kalau
that the
misalkan Viper
Quap
tuh
was getting a couple of those
buat
kills, and you see from the itemization of Quap
clear creep
instantly
cepet
just going
banget.
for that straight BKB.
I thought you were going to say she had pig pull. We had to
Oh, and
reiterate
Pakai skill
that again.
2-nya
And
kan
she
tuh
has big
dimuntahin.
Can't wait.
Do you think she'll use the pig pole? Okay.
Pasifnya
Here's the
menjalar.
question: will she pig pole successfully and run away, or will she just just kill herself with the pig pole?
They're professional players, so it always works out well for them. So I'll just go with that.
I look forward to the pig pole impact.
We have the TP coming in. Depressed Kid comes in as well with that blink, but looks like he's rethinking his priorities here. And yeah, with Smiling Knight not really in the vicinity to be able to get off a good initiation, they're going to have to... Oh, that's a real hex. That's not pig pole.
That's not a pig
He
pole.
still has the pig pole to use right now if he wants. But looks like he's okay. That 10% movement speed,
Dia
not
tag
needed
aja
right
tuh
Look
now.
kan.
at the inefficiency right now, Depressed Kid. You are
Biar
running
hilang,
back
biar nggak
to
ada
an
yang
area. You
bisa.
could have pig poled there.
That's
Pig
right.
pole.
That's true. That's
Just
true.
saying. It's 4 seconds of stun, but that 10% move speed, that
TP dia,
is
TP
an
ke
extra,
atas.
10% block.
Mau nyerang
Yeah.
atas dia.
Imagine if that was released 2 years ago. There'd be a thread on Reddit about how ridiculous it doesn't
Glitch-nya mau
fit the
di-game
theme of Dota. But now we're not at that stage. So Vanscourt takes the boundless strike.
Nah,
Arena
dibuka
just in range,
juga.
and they're gonna try to give this to Yataro. Can he
Dikasih
get it?
ke
Oh,
Absolutely,
Monkey-nya.
greatly timed,
Pump
very
faking.
nicely done.
You see from
Monkey-nya
Empire's
paling
gameplay
kaya
right
sih,
now,
dari
they
tadi dia
realize
farm-
that
farm
the
terus
early lack
bawah,
of
nggak ada
damage
yang
they have,
ganggu.
they need to bring in multiple cores to an area. Like Nightwalker coming to mid, there's
Nggak ada
Sven
yang
even poking
ganggu.
himself into mid, and that is allowing
Free
Spirit
banget
to build a
farmingnya.
slow lead. And I think right now Empire, when Sven gets to
Masih
BKB
di
plus 1, maybe a
stuck ya.
blink, and Quap has a BKB, that's going to be the big timing. So I feel like it's on Team Spirit right now to start connecting and start applying some pressure, close out that jungle. Because if you can
Sekarang
delay
ke
that
mid-
timing,
midnya mau
Empire
dihancurin
will be
kayaknya.
uncomfortable with
Soalnya
getting their
dikasih
damage
lagi.
into the
Oh,
game.
enggak.
Smiling Knight trying to defend this tier 1 tower with that
Dilindungin juga,
frost shield
cuy.
applied. Looks like he's going for the Echo Saber, not a huge surprise. Do you expect any kind of different item? Is this a Silver Edge carrier? It probably is, right?
Yeah, in some games it can be.
It feels like Blink is just so good on Sven though, in general.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen it multiple times through the tournament where the Sven won't buy Blink, and then suddenly you're not able to execute that Winter Wive, and you're able to really get into the backline. So, and like Silver, it's kind of a bait, right? Like, oh, it does more damage, but in a competitive game, how can you get the Silver Edge, walk through the fight, get that
Right.
click off? So, yeah, Blink is far superior unless you already have multiple forms of initiation and you can like waddle your way in.
Yeah. Yep, definitely true. Definitely more of a, I mean, I'm not saying it's not a competitive item because I think it's still really good, but it's definitely more of a pub item since nobody buys detection.
We've seen it on slots. We even saw, I believe, like a Terror
Oh,
Blade.
sorry, I'm going to have to interrupt. Pig pull has now been picked up on Team Spirit. So each side now have a pig pull to use at their discretion.
But they're not going to use it though. Like, you've seen Depressed Kid, he's not turned himself into a pig yet. And who's wielding the pig pole and Spirit? They're not.
This is a tier 1 item. You keep the whole game. 10% movement, that scales. That's percentage.
Infinite scaling. I would like there to be a little patch though that allows Spirit Breaker to turn himself into the pig while charging. It actually hexes you, stopping the charge. I think that is a little bit unfortunate.
Spirit Breaker definitely needs more buffs for pubs. He would be fun to see in more in competitive though.
Exactly.
I do like me some Spirit.
And imagine the pig pole Spirit Breaker charging on in. And then he just erupts into a cow.
Nah, main support tuh begitu lihat di mapnya.
Not the cosmetic that I have. It's going to see Shasha will pop his ult, and Collapse is going to be stuck inside that crippling fear. With Depressed Kid on the DD, looks like this will be a freebie. And it'll go to Shashlo this time.
Apa namanya?
Like, this is when you know that a neutral item isn't right. Because Maposhka, he could easily be carrying the pig pole right now, and he's actively choosing not to carry the pig pole.
That's true. I mean, on Night Stalker, actually, if you use your spells and then use pig pole,
so you're flying
you can catch up with crippling fear and you go through terrain.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my.
It's pretty strong.
That's actually hype. I want to see that Night Stalker ultimate flying in.
Nggak dapat wasit, nggak dapat full, nggak dapat.
You know,
You're
I
breaking
just
the
wanna,
game right
I just
now.
want to let you know that usually my co-casters are the one that rein me in.
No,
So-
I'm in.
He's like, Cinderen's like, no, that's a terrible idea.
No,
Let's
it's
just stop
great.
this guy."
No, because the way that you sold it, imagine this flying pig. What are you meant to do there?
Yeah.
Stun the pig?
I feel exactly the same. I'm glad we're on the same page.
You just don't get me selling Tumblr's toy though. That's
So
my favorite.
Yeah, the Tumblr's toy is, I mean, it's good, but the fact that you can't use it when you take damage makes it really balanced. So I'm not super worried about that one.
Yeah, it's actually like jokes like that is a really good item in just kind of concept. Diffusal blade on the Monkey King, like already mentioned, allows him to catch up onto the crop.
Yeah, but a nice terrorize from the other side of the trees. Yotaro getting chased now, has the curse crown, tries to dodge anything, but the Sonic Wave is there to clean him up.
Yeah, that's the type of play where if Monkey King had that +1, it's a perfect kill. But you don't have the line there. Your Winter Wyvern's TPing in, and Empire is really well positioned. Like you see on the mini right now, they have this like buddy system. You know, the Lich is supporting the Sven bot. He's blocking the smokes if needed, and then you have Night Stalker just freely farming up mid. So just kind of the farming pattern of Empire right now is not allowing Team Spirit to find those cheap kills. And they're forcing Spirit to make the play. If you want to go for a kill, you need to bring multiple people.
Right.
And Spirit just isn't really investing in that.
I'm really interested to see if shards can be picked up on Monkey King this game because as we see, Yotaro with that diffusal, like you said, just going to clean up Vanscar pretty easily. But just with that Sonic Wave, for example, I think 0.5 seconds is enough invulnerability. I'm pretty sure to dodge Sonic Wave if you time it right.
You should be able to.
Sounds pretty hype.
Hey, if we see it, I hope that you notice it in the cast and stream about it.
This does feel like when I read these shards sometimes they're like, okay, in certain situations, it feels like this one at 20 minutes you kind of buy it. If there's something you can dodge.
Yeah, like if you've already got like that active item plus BKB, then you just go for like that casual shard to be even more obnoxious. Like this for sure is like an item I see maybe OG looking towards. You know, Topson picks up the shard, he's dodging some of these big spells, unlocking the fight for his team. We didn't mention it though, but as Lich died to the Monkey King bot, he actually tried to go for a solo kill onto line. He used his ultimate for it. So we're not going to be seeing Lich enter any fights, but it really does install the idea that they don't want to make any big fights right now. They are waiting. As Sven now is 1,400 gold away from Monkey King, building up his lead, going for the SMY into Echo Saber.
Okay. What are your thoughts on SMY this patch? I mean, the only thing that's I think was changed is the Sage just gives less status. So when you combine it, it's no different than before, right? So.
I think as they go into Night Stalker, I will think about this quest.
Yeah, right, Mira jumps in, and with the Viper Strike, Balance Strike as well. Many strikes, actually, in this game.
3 strikes and he is out.
Absolutely.
So back to your question, I would like to see just status resistance removed from the game.
Okay, we're done with this discussion. You and Cinderin.
I mean, terrible
opinion.
Why?
If there was no status resistance, BKB would be even more broken.
Hey, it lost 6 seconds.
It's too BKB. It's needed. The fact that you have to buy an item every game bothers me.
Yeah, but you don't have to buy it every game.
You do.
You can buy Glimmer and a Force.
I'm talking about for carries. You think I play support, Tiga? You've seen my support. I don't play. Collapse pushing out this top lane right now. So, I mean, overall, the net worth pretty even across the board. I mean, who would you favor right now?
I think right now, I'm still favoring Empire, just because they're going to get to a point where when they buy that 20-30 minute BKB on Sven, he's going to run through Spirit as long as they lock down the Winter Wyvern. But this is the pivotal moment in the game for Team Spirit, because they are the aggressors right now. If they're able to stint this aggression, if they're able to get that extra kill, then they're going to be able to take Roshan, and they don't care about God's Strength. Because we mentioned BKBs, just kite them out.
All right, we hear that Night Stalker ult go off, and if they get this kill, that would be pretty huge. But there's the curse to start things out. Bramble's there as well, trying to dodge a little bit of damage, but Yotaro looks super dead. And with that Smiling Knight, very confident to go in. But there's the Yules, keep him in place a little bit longer. He doesn't really have any initiation items of any sort, so they'll at the very least get Makoshka. So it's a 2 for nothing, but obviously the Monkey King dying a couple times now. That's pretty big for Empire.
Yeah, this is the value of just the Night Stalker in the draft, right? As soon as he pops that Dark Ascension, he's going to be able to instantly locate what tree the monkey is on. He's going to chase him down. And there's a lot of chase potential with Empire. You got Dark Willow on the range, you then got Quap blinking in, Night Stalker with the vision. Like Spirit, if they want to play an aggressive area, they need to fortify it with vision. And like if you, as we see the highlight here, right? It's like he pops the ult instantly onto Monkey King, and Empire, like, sorry, Spirit, they don't really have the vision to play here. And they're able just to continue kiting. Maybe you could argue, like, there isn't even a curse actually. There's just no play for Spirit to make here other than just don't play in the area.
There's very little commitment from Empire as well. They didn't really, I mean, they ended up using Sven ult, but he just used it to farm afterwards. So, We didn't mention Quap does have the orchid in the inventory. It's had that for a couple minutes now. By the way, I didn't even realize Pigpool is 50 mana. Is that needed? What's the point of having a mana cost on
I mean, you're selling it on every hero wanting to use it. So if we suddenly remove 50 mana from the Pigpool...
I'm sure Valve have great stats as to how often this item is used, effectively or not at all.
That's true.
Yeah. So they could get a big buff of 0 mana cost by TI.
No
We can
way.
create a movement to make 0 mana cost Pigpool.
All right. It's realistically, it's a pretty naff item. So 0 mana.
Yeah.
What cooldown we say? 25 is a lot.
25's fine.
What?
That's not that.
Okay, how about 3 seconds on the hex and 12 seconds on the cooldown? Let's get the piggies per minute.
Oh, you want it actually to be way better.
Yeah, I want it to be like actually useful. I want commentators to be screaming.
If you want it to be
piggy run.
useful, it needs to not be a tier 1 item. That's the first step.
Yeah, okay, how about Faded Brooch was one of the most busted tier 1 items, right?
Yeah, but it was boring.
It was. So why not give Faded Brooch...
Smiling Knight. You're going to have to hold that thought. T-Governor, he's getting chased. Oh my god, he's going to be fine.
Imagine if you had the Pigpole.
That's true.
Even safer.
But no,
true. Let's make Pigpole the new iteration of Faded Brooch. Let's give it a bit more of that mana situation. Let's force heroes to... Wait! You don't allow them to actively choose when they become the pig. They just RNG.
It's passive?
Passive, yeah.
Oh.
So you get a lot of benefits. Like you get the mana, you get the move speed, but like randomly, every 2 minutes,
I would agree
you
with
turn it
that,
into a pig.
only when it's equipped on Ogre Magi, though.
So you multicast your own
the
team.
lore. You multicast your team into pigs, and you ruin the game, and you get reported.
Dude,
that'll stop people from playing Ogre. Or actually, maybe the opposite.
We need that, actually.
Top
we need
lane,
a passive thing.
Guitaro. Oh, he's going to be showing in this top lane, and that is likely going to be... What?
Everyone's here, though.
Yeah, Mars is here. Okay, I thought they would be able to actually initiate there, but looks like all for naught.
But that's the development of the game, right? Where Yotaro realizes every time he farms up there, they're going to go on him. So this time, Team Spirit, they bring in the heroes, and Empire, they have the discipline. When that Cold Embrace instantly comes into play, they're like, wait a second, there has to be maybe clamps, he's not showing on the lane. They disengage. Other teams there, they'd have tried to continue poking, seeing what they could get, but yeah, a lot of discipline coming out from both teams as they kind of develop through the series, realizing kind of how they're playing the map and what type of fight they're taking.
Yeah, what kind of power spikes? I mean, I can answer this myself, but anyway, the BKBs.
There we go.
That's the next power spike, I assume. Mr. Smiling Knight is going for one, I believe. Yeah, Shoshlo as well, and we can see the Monkey King for Yotaro. So, and they're all actually pretty close to getting it at the same time.
Yeah, so Monkey King going for one, Viper's going for one, Corp's going for one, Night Stalker Sven, like there's 5 BKBs.
And you want to get rid of status resistance. Imagine how much worse it is.
But, okay, but, sorry, does Sven have status resistance? And the BKB?
Yeah,
so does he need the status resistance?
He needs both. He's a big boy.
He's probably thinking to himself right now, why did I waste my money on this status resistance when I could have just had a BKB blink right now?
He's got a big appetite. That's Sven's problem.
He is a big boy.
That is in the lore. As we see Faye Grenade being picked up by Miposhka. It's a pretty interesting item, I guess you could call it.
It has
what are your thoughts on it? The fact that it does more than just apply the damage is a little weird to me.
It does give vision in regards to, do you know when like a spectral dagger hits a unit, it's kind of that cloudy vision where you don't fully see the hero?
Right.
That's the type of vision it gives when it goes behind fog. And I think there are some really cute plays to make with it, but I'm yet to see it really be like have that impact in the game. The faded grenade or whatever it was called again. Yeah, the fade grenade, that was the real kind of turning point for the fight. But
I mean, you haven't seen Earthshaker then?
I know, for sure. I was hoping you were going to mention it. I was giving you the platform to bring up the Shaker. Yeah, I have seen it in a pub where you get the Shaker where he just yeets this grenade in one shot to CM or something.
Yeah.
That's pretty entertaining, but competitively...
And it doesn't use Enchant either. Oh, we're going to see the Hex here. Looks like this will be a freebie at the very least for Team Spirit. Oh, okay. Smiling Knight. Looks like that's going to be a very easy kill. I was trying to see. It was Pigpole. Damn it. I was like, he couldn't have hexed. It's a Pigpole. Oh, I hope we see this replay.
Nice.
Right, this is the impact move. Pigpole in 2 seconds. Look at this 10% movement speed buff. Look at this.
Crazy.
He almost gets to the other side of the creep.
It's not a Pigpole with line. It's a fishpole. Please.
That is true.
Here we go.
Actually.
That's a little fishy.
That's a little lore breaking.
And if he was a pig, I think he lives. And I think that's why pigs are superior to fish right now.
Interesting that his own cosmetic Hex applies to himself. That's really weird. I would never have guessed that, actually.
Yeah, well, Dota's a really reliable.
All right, well, we've seen the first pig pull today, and it's an 0 for 1.
Oh, yeah, 0 for 1. Yeah. Like, we're actually not seeing any other use of the little old piggy, so that's unfortunate. But luckily, that replay did show that Lion didn't have a blink, didn't have any of his own spells up, so turning into a pig was the only option for him. It wasn't like he was griefing himself.
It's funny that we talked about it the whole game so far. Like,
it feels good.
And the first thing that went into my head when it happened is that he hexed himself. That was like my because it's just not used to it yet. You know, they're gonna find the Dark Willow again, likely. Yeah, with the spear into the trees. And I mean, you have to think they're gonna get this eventually. Mira's on the sideline as well. Has the Finger of Death ready to go. Rebuke not quite enough. His Shasha's gonna play all his pressure to the Lion instead, but there's the Cold Embrace to keep him alive. Now Collapse. Getting stunned up. But with the Dark Willow kill, it looks like Team Spirit's going to be relatively happy with that, and Empire not wanting to fight 4v5.
Yeah, the key thing there. Oh, going back in.
As I say that, absolutely. Oh my goodness, a spear into the tree melee style. Still at half HP. He's broken, and there's the Finger of Death to finish him off. So another kill goes the way of Team Spirit. And Vanscore might be next on the list. Absolutely. So Team Empire kind of crumbling in this last 30-second engagement here.
And that's the disparity in BKB time that's coming into play, right? You see the Monkey King with it, the Viper with it. Sven didn't have ultimate at the start of that fight, and also Night Stalker, he was like 100 gold away from his BKB. So like Empire were like posturing, but they just weren't ready. If they delayed, if they just disengaged from the area, then we would have seen like the real clash of both teams at their biggest power spike we've seen in the game so far. But Empire showing that they weren't as disciplined as before. They kind of get caught off guard by collapsing the Yules and turning it around. This shouldn't scare Empire from looking to take a fight. They should go back into it. As we see here, Collapse has the Yules, pins into that single tree in the middle of the fight. And at this point,
and look how close Shashlo was to BKB here. 100 gold.
Exactly. And like, even if they kill the Lion with the quad ult, it's not going to feel great. So yeah, Empire will be kicking themselves a little bit that they took that fight. But again, not too disheartened. They know the time is coming around the corner. They just need that one clean smoke and catch the Wyvern, catch the Lion, and take the fight from there. But yeah, Roshan, I guess that's where we're leading to. Roshan will be the big fight. Both teams are extremely ready to take this. Maybe Empire will be a little bit upset with no call. They have to contest this. This is critical.
It's going relatively fast. They might not even be able to get here on time. The Press Kid, like you said, doesn't have Sonic Wave, but the BKB online, so they got 3 on their team right now. But yeah, Team Spirit not wanting to take any chances. Abandon Roche for the time being at half health, and will smoke up instead. And oh my. This is the Dark Willow Death again. Balance Strike onto one only here, but the Mars Arena onto Shasha. This will be a big kill with the Finger of Death. No BKB able to be used there. As now Vanscore chased down again, and this should be the Roche.
Yeah, for sure. Empire, they got a little bit comfortable.
Might not be done. Mira, yeah, he jumps in, gets the Hex. They can get this kill. That's a BKB. That's the top charge right there. And they're just going to let him go. That's a great exchange for Team Spirit.
Yeah, Team Spirit just playing the map a little bit better, right? Like, they play Roshan, bring it to half HP. They kind of respect the idea of Scan being available, disengage, smoke up, and then Mirror on the line, really utilizing that blink, getting the Hex on Night Stalker. Like, they have the BKBs. Empire are ready to fight. But if you're not in position as a team and you get picked off like that, it's disastrous, and they just sweep through the entire map. Like, and I love the fact Spirit isn't instantly running into Roshan. Like, they respect the idea that there's a Willow, there's a Quap, there's these big AoE heroes, so they can continue to force Empire to play around the pit and then hope that they have the better fight there. But it can also kind of bite them a little bit, because Night Stalker with ultimate, for sure, is very disruptive.
Yeah, Empire's lineup is pretty scary if you don't have vision of them while you're going for the old Roshan. But we can see on the mini-map that they are not remotely close, so this will be an easy Roche for Team Spirit.
That Radiant Ward in the dire triangle, that's what's unlocking this Roshan for Spirit. They see pretty much 3 heroes just kind of actively walk through the pit, the jungle, sorry, and then Quap pushes that bottom. And that's why you see Spirit not trying to fake Roshan, not trying to kind of delay and kite out. They're just going straight for it. Now they have the Aegis.
And they 5-man smoke, knowing that the Aegis is now online for Yotaro. Be interested to see if they actually try to engage here.
They're trying to hope that Spirit make the same play that they did, where they get comfortable with the Aegis. You see Maposhka's positioning, like, this is not respecting a potential smoke.
Yeah, absolutely. Collapse is going to run right into him. Shasho does get off the BKB this time, and yeah, they're going to focus on the Wyvern and the Wyvern alone. And they'll find him. Mira looks to be taken out with that last right click as well. So with that Team Spirit, if you can get out with Toronto, Tokyo, still has the BKB, will have to pop it. And Empire's going to be happy with that.
Now 1-for-1, where the teams are able to kind of bait out these key BKBs.
Yep.
And we mentioned earlier the idea of Silver Edge and Blink Dagger and stuff, and We thought that someone would go for a Blink Dagger, but no, he's Silver Edge. He's going for the Silver Edge.
I mean, I do feel like their biggest issue right now is catch. Like, it's basically their initiation. If you had a Blink Dagger on Night Stalker, it would make a lot more sense. You know what I mean? Like, they're running, like, a lot of their kills have been, they just have better vision, or, I mean, which is what Night Stalker provides you, I guess, but still kind of missing that Blink.
Yeah, so right now, how we saw that fight go down, it's like Night Stalker gets on top of the Wyvern, and that unlocks Sven to have a free fight, right? Like, the reason why they picked Wyvern was the Winter's Curse or the Cold Embrace, like, constantly forcing Sven to feel uncomfortable. And I guess maybe they're just hoping that Night Stalker always finds the Wyvern, and they don't need to blow up the hero, because then it's like you can just kind of keep him to the side silence, and Sven can then waddle in with all his damage, not rely on like the double jump and kill. So I can see maybe why they're doing it, but again, I'm just a big fan of the Blink.
Spider senses are tingling here as Smiling Knight will run all the way back into his base. Very afraid right now. But yeah, it does have the Shadow Blade, like you said, so just needs a Chrysalis plus recipe to get the Silver Edge. It's funny, it feels like they redesign Silver Edge every couple years. Had Echo Saber before. What are all the iterations, actually? Collapse. To find this, the Winter's Curse is there, trying to set up the proper spear as well. So for quite a while, Yataro, Boundless Strike with the BKB from Depressed Kid into the TP, and will be successful. Very little HP, but we'll get out.
Pretty awkward. And the first aggressive tip of the entire series of this elimination game, which is Depressed Kid going to Mirror.
Beautifully done. So how many BKBs we got?
We got a lot there, man. We got Monkey King's got a BKB, Viper's got a BKB. Collapse isn't going for one. He's been a little bit of a cheeky deal. They make Yules at Lotus, you know.
So 5 is what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah, I was trying to sugarcoat it. We got 5 BKBs in this game, yeah.
Very nice.
So how many would you like to see in the game? Like none? 2. Oh, okay. So still like the item to some degree.
Yeah, it just needs to not be, I have to purchase this every single game.
Stop picking magical damage.
It's not just
play against Lycan, but then hope to have a repair kit. Oh wait, wrong patch.
Yeah, true. Repair kit, we loved you, JK. Alright, fortification is popped. The tier 2 pressure will stop right there. They're still amalgamating towards that area, so we'll see if they continue on or not. They might just get this tier 2 for free from both sides.
Yeah. That's a natural mirroring play. I think both teams are really respecting that the vision needed to take these fights instrumental. And I think Spirit, they also have to respect this Night Stalker. Like, they're going to be hugging the side of the tree line. They're going to be using their wards. And if they take a fight in the open, they probably will lose it. Because their damage is, it's there. But like with the Frost Shield from Lich, with the Kite of Willow and the Quap and the BKB, like, it is hard for them to 100 to 0. And like, sure, you have Wukongs and you have Arena, but that is like the perfect setup where Mirror on the line is able to get that fight. And once again, it boils down to the vision. So I think Spirit, they're entering the point of the game where even though they have the toolkit to get the kills, they're scared that if they don't smoke to find the kill, it is going to be a very awkward engagement where Empire's going to be able to come out on top.
Yeah, and Empire just doesn't want to fight into this Aegis at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Yataro, I mean, only 30 seconds left on the Aegis. Is that right? Time really flies when I'm casting with you, T-Gov. Unlike the Cinder, where it's just never ends.
I feel I agree with you.
Doesn't feel like a slog. Somebody's actually agreeing with me. My goodness. As we see the 30-minute item timing here, new record, really. Minute faster for the Lotus Orb here on Collapse. I was a little surprised. I mean, we did talk about this, the fact that Yataro has not gone for the shard. I feel like he has used he's tried to use Mischief a few times, but has not done so. It feels like he's used to the 0.5 seconds almost.
I guess the other way of looking at it is, when I was thinking of the shard, I was thinking about the mid Monkey King, where you are a bit more utility style in their face. And he is the core. And I think if he delays his Skadi by 1400 gold, it could be uncomfortable. Like, this is the moment in the game, right? Like, this is the point where whoever wins this next fight will be able to position around Roshan, will be able to set themselves up for that second Aegis, and it's looking good.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't disagree with that, but the fact that they didn't really use Aegis in any way, like, normally if you don't, at least you get some towers or something. They just traded, and if anything, they've actually lost net worth if you look at the top.
Yeah, and that's because of Empire's, smoke, where they 5-manned after the Aegis, instantly killing off the Wyvern and Lion, and it just reminded Spirits like, guys,
Nggak ada
if you want to
siapa-siapa,
fight
tapi
us
mereka
and you're not
open
jumping us,
smoke.
we will kill
Rugi
you.
juga sih
And that kind of
sebenarnya,
forced
cuma
Spirit to go, wait a
ngecek-ngecek
second, even though we are winning the
Padahal
game
nggak ada
with
siapa-siapa di
objectives,
daerah jangkauan
we are
mereka
yet to
juga.
take that pure 5-on-5 where Mira hasn't had that excellent jump and that excellent start, and you can't rely on that in a Dota game. And that's why
Nah,
Empire,
dibuka kan
they
sama
time the
Sven.
Roshan, they're getting confident, they realize that Spirit, they're
Nggak ada
playing
siapa-siapa
forward,
juga
but
sih.
they're not
Svennya
playing with
lagi
like
ini
the,
loh.
we're winning the game now. And that's where
Kuiras.
Empire, they can take their lead in the game and really just try and fight. And both teams, when they don't see heroes on the map, all the way back to the tier 3s, they're playing super scared.
Yeah, indeed. So that was a 5-man smoke, but they didn't really find anything. Got maybe some vision there, but we see the Silver Edge now online, and I am really curious to see if he's able to actually use this successfully, because it just feels like one of those games where... Actually, let me look at Choshlo. What does he have right now? Oh, he does have the Blink Dagger. Okay, so now they have some sort of more reliable catch. I mean, I feel like, you know, Queen of Pain is not a hero you want technically being your initiator. Not really too tanky, even though she does have a blink, but...
But that's why the Night Stalker with the Blink Dagger, that's what kind of gives
Udah
comfort
desok
to this
kan,
itemization,
pasti
where
desok, soalnya
I think
di
if
sini
we were
tebal
talking about a
terus,
Night Stalker
tapi
who maybe built like an AC or some other
masih
random like
kekali.
tanky item or an axe or something,
OTW
like,
ke Skadi,
not good for the game,
udah
right.
Skadi
Sure, then we can
tuh.
critique the Sven
Udah jadi
not
3
having the
item
blink,
ya.
but because they're kind of
Magikinya.
enabling each
Sedangkan
other, one goes
Vipernya
blink,
tadi
one goes
lagi
damage,
terakhir lagi
I honestly don't
OTW
mind it at this
Skadi.
point, as it has had great success with Night Stalker finding the Wyvern so far.
Depressed Kid showing himself. That's going to set up the Yules from Collapse into the Spear, but no, the
Queen of
BKB
Pain-nya
is
dibuka
popped.
aja,
Depressed Kid
BKB-nya di
now
sana.
feels like he needs to go on him, and already at half HP is
Oh,
Collapse.
arenanya belum dibuka, tapi nggak ada backup juga sih,
Mitigating
masih
a ton
nungguin
of
dari
damage
mereka.
right now. And actually, that Chain Frost
Nah,
comes out
nice
as well,
cycle-nya
but really
masuk
to
dia
no
ke Winter
avail. So
Wyvern,
Collapse
bahaya juga
has
sih.
successfully mitigated a lot of this damage, but there's the Wukong's
Mati,
command
tapi
on the several here.
dibuka
Shashlo just
gitunya.
melting
Ultinya
inside,
sama
and
Kiki.
Collapse finishes them off with a
Komen.
nice rebuke.
Oh,
And now the
kena
Boundless
dong,
Strike
mati
will
juga dia.
connect. And this looks
Ada
like another
Eul,
dead Dark
menunda
Willow.
doang sih, kan
And
mati
there's
sama
another
Lion.
charge for Mira, number 4
Disampah.
to his name.
What a, yeah, a
Tapi
very
daripada
weird
nggak
engagement
mati
from
sih,
Empire.
sayang mereka mati.
Simply because they weren't able to instantly kill the Wyvern, they
dua
also
tuh.
fed away a
Carry-nya
gem.
satu.
Night Stalker had that, and I think
Rugi juga sih.
Empire, like
Sedangkan
the
yang
perfect fight for
Spirit
them is playing around the vision,
lengkap.
keeping it long and drawn out. Like he used Wukong's reset from the fight, and Spirit
Tapi
they
dari
were able to keep
tadi,
that Wyvern alive. And
si
yeah,
Sven
Empire
itu
just struggling
bingung
with
dia
kind of
farming,
cohesion.
bebas
It
banget
feels like.
farmingnya.
Yeah, it felt like he had to pop that BKB, so he was almost committed.
Exactly, yeah.
But nope, it didn't feel like they were on the same page. But only down 2K, so this game is in reach for both teams.
It's still very close, and I think it was
Manjat
enjoyable
dia,
to
enak
see
banget
how
manjat.
Viper
Tapi di
plays
situ
really
ada
well
ward,
into Night
cuy.
Stalker. Because as
Dia
the Night
nggak bawa
Stalker was
ward
running
sih.
in, you know,
Oh,
he
dia jadi
just
Shiva
pops the
juga.
ultimate on him, and it's going to look pretty good. As we see the replay here, so right, Collapse starts the fight,
Dia
and
lagi
this
buat
already,
Queen-nya, lagi
it looks
buat
a little bit
Lincoln ya
shaky for
tadi ya.
Spirit, because you've used your
Lagi
spear,
buat
like, okay, now I'm in an uncomfortable position. But this is the point where it looks good, right? Mira blinks in, stopping Sven from kind of playing the game. And then Shash, though, he's way out of position,
Winter
and
Wyvern-nya
because of
nggak
that
jadi
Vibe Strike,
mati,
he
malah yang
can't,
jadi
you know,
mati
disengage from the fight.
Stalker, padahal
And the
main
Wukong
Stalker-nya
stops the rest of
tadi
Empire
nyuri.
joining the fight. They're kind of heavily out of
Jadi
position.
dapat
So,
double kill di sini
very weird
Monkey.
from both
Enggak,
sides, but
bukan
for sure
Monkey tadi.
Empire, little bit of miscommunication if
sama
they're actually
si
fighting or not.
siapa?
And
Si
because of
Lion
that
disampah.
one little slip up where Night Stalker goes in and the team can't,
udah
it's impossible
buka
for them to
ini
take the
loh,
fight.
ulti.
Collapse just tanked everything.
He did, yeah.
Kind of crazy. But I wanted to talk about this talent, which didn't really matter before for Quap, but the 525 AoE Shadow Strike now, like
Lots
you said,
of
it
heal.
heals, so I don't know if that's, again, it sounds cool in theory.
Yep.
We'll see if it actually is good, because you're giving up the 120 Scream of Pain damage, which I believe is a new talent. So I've actually yet to see that in a game.
And I believe it does half to creeps as well, so it's not as if it's like you hit
Right.
a wave and a hero, you suddenly just
Belum ketahuan
regenning
dia
out
di
of
situ.
that.
Joshua is going to show himself.
Ada
He's
smoke.
going to kill
Nah,
that courier
ketahuan
in
juga.
spite. Going to find Maposhka, pops the
Dibuka
BKB along with the
BKB-nya.
crippling fear, but 4 stacks
Main
from
Stalker,
Maposhka.
tapi nggak
Looks like he'll be safe for
nggak
now,
jadi
but here
attack
the
dia.
Depressed Kid comes. There's the Shadow Strike AoE. They're able to take out two
Oh, nggak jadi
extremely quickly. They're going to buy back into the game, though.
Iya,
Now they're going to try to
mati
turn
juga
this
kan.
around.
Oh
And
enggak
Depressed Kid
cuy,
is going to take
selamat.
down
Oh,
very
mati
low.
dia.
And another Finger of Death with 1 HP target. He'll take another charge,
Mati.
T-Gov.
Mati dua.
And it's a 2 for 2, but costing 2 buybacks. We'll see if Team Spirit can go high ground.
Yeah, the key thing here, Sven still has ultimate.
Siapa
So
buyback
if
tadi?
you trade
Nice
off the
Stalker-nya
buyback
buyback
from
ya?
Lich, maybe you can still take this fight.
Yep, there's the buyback onto
rugi
Lich. Now Quap
banget,
still
cuy.
with buyback as well. But looks like Team Spirit might be backing up now as a result of that.
Good from Empire not to automatically use the quad buyback as well. But that is the advantage where Spirit is
Siapa
able able
yang
to,
nyentuh si Sven
in this
coba? Nggak
aggressive
ada sih,
area
nggak
because of
nggak
course
akan ada
it's
yang
late
nyentuh
into the game,
Sven.
they control the outpost, so
Kecuali
killing
5
off the support
lawan
is great,
1,
but
4 lawan 1.
Empire's now struggling.
Susah.
And that boils down to the idea of Silver Edge v Blink again, right?
Jadi
Like, I
KOP-nya
enjoyed
sama
the
si
Silver Edge
ininya
when
doang
the Night Stalker
diincar.
was playing cleanly onto the Wyvern. But now we're not seeing the Night Stalker have the same impact.
Nah, kalau naik
The
sniper
Sven
masih
hasn't really been able to do
kill
any
dia,
damage in
networknya
any of
juga
these
masih
fights.
jauh
Like
lah.
he's using the Silver Edge, he's
Sama
waddling
Mars
around,
aja yang di
but they
atasnya
just kind of
masih
look at the
jauh.
Viper like,
Yeah,
please
he's
don't
farming well, but in
3000.
fights he hasn't really done
exactly.
much. So this is the Shard Roche.
Rosen yang kedua
No
di
more
sini.
cheese.
Ooh, new
Will
angle.
Yataro take it? We've talked it up all game.
I'd
He
love
will not. It will be for Viper.
Sama
Well, he's
siapa
going to
itu
hold
ya?
it.
He's
for
holding
now.
it.
Monkey berarti ya.
Viper's
Oh, kalau
is
sama Monkey
really
sama Mars
good.
sih.
Provides you, yeah, he's going to use it, so gives you the minus
Tadinya
armor
nggak
and more
kepake.
stacks with poison attack, and also
Immortalnya.
works on buildings. So that's kind of your high ground push right there in and of itself. Actually went for Ags. What do you think of Ags on this hero?
This is filthy. You know, trying to
It's
circuit.
probably the most boring Ags in the game.
Yeah, it is. It's up there for sure. But
No, it's
boring
not up
is
there.
also
It is the most.
okay. What's your second most boring?
Venomancer, which was slightly changed
Okay, no,
in this
to be fair,
last
that is
match. Those
but
are
is
the,
it- okay,
those
is it
are the
not
two
fun though when you
legacy
get
Ags from
25?
the previous years.
So you just don't like
Di
things that
udah
just
dapat.
slowly kill you.
Awas,
No,
jangan-
it's
jangan ke bawah
all
tuh.
it does is upgrade your
Tokyo
ult.
mati nanti.
There's nothing special about it. Like the rest of the Ags in the game are very unique in some way, usually.
So like, how about Viper's Ags is like a Kunkka where it creates torrents.
Belum open
Yeah.
smoke
Viper
ya,
just spits out toxins like everywhere, just randomly.
Oh, you're trying to think of a new Ag.
Yeah. Just want to shake it
I
up.
mean,
a
you
little
should send your ideas to Ice Frog because obviously they can't think of anything new for Viper or Veno.
bit. Just more damage. But anyway, I think I like the idea. Of course, this Viper, his role in this game is just to kite out the Sven because Sven doesn't have blink. If he gets the ultimate onto the Night Stalker or the Sven, like it just fully removes them from the fight. And movement in this game for Empire is key. They're trying to poke, prod, and kite. So yeah, this Viper really filling the role right now with his itemization and his positioning.
Yeah, because the extra cast range is really nice though. By the way, I'm not saying
Whoa.
Ags is bad on the here. I'm just saying
Teori
it's a boring
farming,
concept.
No,
yang penting bisa farming
thanks
terus.
for clarifying.
Yeah, just want to make sure you understand.
Lihat
Tigo.
Sven-nya,
I
Sven-nya masih
understand.
kaya
Like
banget.
for Cinder, I
Padahal
have to explain stuff several
beda
times for them to
1000 tuh,
understand. So,
1300.
One and done guy. Or I'm
Padahal
just saying
timnya
yes to move
tertekan,
on the
tapi
conversation.
Sven-nya
You
masih
just
kaya.
don't know.
yeah, that's true.
But no, I agree. I like
Soalnya nggak
like
ada
the
yang berani
Axe.
nyentuh
It's good.
dia sih.
Ascetics cap now.
Yeah.
Team Empire. What do you think of this
Mati
item?
It's pretty cool for the idea
Kasih
of if
paling
you get
Mars.
jumped, you suddenly get a little bit
Monkey
tankier.
masih bisa
But it's
kabur
that
lah.
cursed thing, status resistance.
Yeah, I love me some status resist.
Yes. So
50% is a lot,
yeah,
by the way.
you want to put this on the guy who's going to be the front line. He just tanks it up. Suddenly, he's able to eat through some of these spells.
Perang.
But yeah.
Smoke.
Now we're
Tapi
going to see
udah
the Hex
ketahuan juga.
initiation from Amira. Boundless strike to follow now. Nice.
Arenanya
Oh,
dimakan.
collapse onto 2. Looks like he dodged something there. Darkload's going to survive a little bit longer as a result, but you can see Shoshlo
Night
on
Stalker-nya
the
buka
high
BKB
ground,
tapi
gets
masih
taken
tipis
out,
loh,
but
sakit.
Monkey King is stuck there for just a little bit. So
Sakit
it's a 1
juga.
for nothing to start things out. The Viper strike
Masih
from
diselamatin
afar.
kan sama
Smiling
Colt-nya.
Knight has to
Gila
fight now
emang.
for the most part. Will
Emang rese nih
absolutely
kalau ada
blow up
Wyvern,
Mira.
Wyvern,
So
Wyvern.
finally we see some Sven damage, but will he be able to do much more? He's going to have to man fight Yataro, and that just ain't happening.
Yeah, Sven doesn't
So
have
1
buyback
for
as well.
3 with the buyback now onto
Oh,
Shoshlo,
langsung
and
dibuka
Yataro
BKB,
is going to get off that
dimajuin. Oh,
ultimate
dia
finally,
belum
never
ulti
used
juga
it,
sih.
and with that diffusal blade, Shoshlo's going to take more damage, but looks like he'll limp away to the fountain.
Siapa itu? Buyback ya?
The real question
Night
here for
Stalker-nya
Team
buyback.
Spirit is if are they going to also try and look to
Dua kali buyback
start
ya.
hitting some buildings? Sven doesn't have ultimate, doesn't have buyback. This is going to
Yeah.
look pretty good for them.
I mean, with Viper Shard, it's... I mean, that's one of the best pushing things in the entire game, I feel like.
Yeah, just starts
Absolute
chunking
crazy.
down the tower. It's pretty good. Again, Empire just going to be so upset right now. Like the key fights, they're just 10, 15 minutes too late for their lineup. They're getting heavily kited now. The value of this Viper's coming into play, and they're really struggling to connect on the damage. Like this was the first time we saw Sven hit a hero in a fight cleanly, right? And he two-shot a lion. And at 40 minutes, that can't be what your carry does, as he just slowly gets kited out from all the slows and spells and Mars and Wyvern.
Yeah,
It's a rough
Toronto,
game.
Tokyo, not a whole lot of mana to speak of, so he's just conserving it here,
No,
knowing
that's
that you're going to
respect-
find both
yeah.
racks.
He doesn't need to use it right now. He needs to use that, your favorite Ags in the game, the onto the Sven.
That's right, absolutely. All right, that's 2 sets of racks for Team
Now
Spirit.
we're going, you know.
Yeah. I mean, this one's a little riskier because 20 seconds for Sven. We're going to see a spear. This could be a huge kill if they're able to find it. And it looks like they will. Actually blinks on his dead body, just drops by the Ancient, buys back into the game. This is going to be at the very least a melee rack. See if they can get the megas overall. Lichel finally comes through, and there's the Wukong's command, which will just create enough space to get the mega creeps. And with that, Team Spirit will try to get out. It looks like Collapse might be the only one to get sacrificed here, but they'll take this any day of the week. Actually uses his arena, but to no avail.
Look at him, he's like, oh, we got mega creeps. Yay.
Yeah, mega creep. I mean, honestly, that's the power of Viper Strike, or Viper Shard. It is insane.
Or Sven dying without buyback.
That too, yes.
Or
I mean,
Sven not having
to be
ultimate.
fair, like 3 or 4 of them have bought back in the last like 6 minutes, right? So
Yeah. the game.
And even if he did have buyback, no ult for that time being. For a
and
good
that's
portion
why
of it.
Sven is also not really like the first phase hero that Spirit were mentioning in their interviews. Like, if you have the kite, if you have what's necessary.
Okay, double damage and
Aegis
gotcha.
is
Is that enough?
seconds.
Amira is now using his Hex, Yatara with the Boundless Strike, and now he's getting all his HP back. It's a man fight for the ages, or a monkey, if you will. I guess it depends on if you believe in evolution, but here comes the curse onto Sven, and with that Viper Strike from afar, smiling like
mati juga.
drops again.
Sven-nya mati juga ya.
100 seconds on the deck, no buyback, GG's.
Nggak ada buyback.
That was quite the game.
Yeah, it was.
I enjoyed it.
Both
santai
teams, they
atuh,
had
bro,
their chances.
mukanya.
You know, I enjoyed what Empire had. You had that beautiful style of vision
Yeah,
from
haus.
the Sven. But once again, Silver Edge or Blink. And unfortunately, I got baited by the Silver Edge for that moment, but then fundamentally, you need that Blink dagger. You need to be able to actually kill heroes. Because if you jump into a fight and you get instantly kited, you're not going to be able to connect. And yeah, Spirit, they play around that beautifully. They dodging these smokes from Empire. If they failed one time, they're looking good. So yeah,
GG,
I mean,
GG,
when I saw the Silver Edge changes,
1-0.
one of the first heroes was Sven. That came to mind, right? Now, would it have been better if he got like Ags? Because then that's kind of your initiation.
That's a dead eye.
It doesn't really work with Silver
Very
Edge
dead.
either. Or wait, would it? I'm not sure actually. I don't think so. They actually got rid of the hit, right?
It's just
all right, if they had the, I missed the
buy a
old days
Blink.
of Superman.
We're not overcomplicating this. Just buy the Blink, play some Dota, jump, kill.
Okay. Well,
Instead,
other than the Sven, what else could they have changed this game? Do you think?
Yeah, I feel like they did kind of get into that point where they were just moving around the map and not finding the key kills, and they just got kited. Night Stalker, that key fight, just runs in, isn't able to do it. So yeah, unfortunate for Empire, not really able to just cleanly find the kills. Like it's so unfortunate to see. They were playing pretty well, but Spirit, they just had their
bro,
read
buat
on
tim
how to win the
Spirit.
game, and
Ini
they
di sini
optimized for
BO3
each other.
sih.
They played for each other, and it really
BO3.
shows like the disparity and like who really understands how their draft's going to win the game. So
right.
for sure, Spirit are looking like the cleaner team. But if Empire just like they find
Tapi
that one
tadi
key
gua
fight a
nggak
little bit
sempat
different, if
ngeliat
they unlock that Aegis for
last
themselves,
war-nya.
this could be a different story.
Sampai
it's still
ada
a best
kata-kata
of three.
GG kayak gitu.
Elimination,
So
to be
there's
clear.
possibly
tim
two
Empire
more
nyerah.
games, in an elimination series. So this is gonna be an interesting one to say the very least. But with
Lemah
that,
mental
I
mereka,
believe
bro.
we're ready to go to the panel. So let's see what they have to say about this game one.
I'm sure we got quite a lot to say about this game one.
Okay,
and we
kita
would
istirahat
tell all
dulu,
about it right
cuy.
now, but we won't. We'll make you wait for it.
Kita istirahat dulu. Oke, istirahat dulu ya.
Jack it up. open eye, feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies, only you can make me move.
Mars just, you can't really stop Mars from doing what he wants to do. Arena's always good lockdown. I've yet to see a Mars get like super bodied in lane. I think the only hero that can really do that is Lifestealer. It's a strong support.
I would say so.
Yeah, Media Wyvern.
I mean, it's more so about like how you can play after Mars gets level 6 too. Like, can you stay on the lane? Can you force him out? Do you want to run into him? Do you want to? I just don't think Lich does anything, right? By way of that. So, okay, so Mars Phoenix. This is an Eastern
Pretty sick.
European classic.
Yeah.
So for obvious reasons, you have the Supernova and the arena potential, and also Bulwark can protect Supernova even if you mess up with the arena a little bit. So Mars is a hero who loves to pair with a Phoenix. But outside of that, just a spear into a Sunray is so much damage.
Yep.
These heroes are not cooldown dependent in that, okay, we can only play with their ultis, because they do have lots of utility outside of that, which is why I really like this combo together in particular.
Yep. I'm a big fan of Phoenix, especially, I believe, once again, Lina, and it was removed in the opener, which to me is like just... I think Lina being so meta was part of what kept Phoenix out, but now that it's getting banned more, slight nerfs, tweaks, is not opened with nearly as much, Phoenix is just... I just see Sunray do so much damage. Plus the sustain, and Egg, because the Sun is BKB piercing, is just kind of this I win button in team fights.
Now, one of the heroes that is still in that we really like to see Mira play is the Mirana. That is also an egg counter.
The Mirana.
I would love to
Mirana.
see a Mirana pick.
Me too.
I miss that hero. I think she's really good, especially now that Hoodwink is super nerfed.
Banned.
Wah, wah, It's because it's an egg hitter, and you don't want to give it away. It's like pretty standard lane with the axe. You battle hunger, blight stone on the Mirana, and hit a guy. Very tough to trade into,
That's
especially with a hero like
sad, though.
Wyvern.
But I would just like to say something about my girl Mirana. Now that Hoodwink has gotten over nerfed, I believe, I really do think she got over nerfed. But now that that's happened, Mirana is back to being the queen of follow-up stun, of follow-up damage, right? So I thought we'd already have seen her more already.
Yeah. And so far, I believe Mira has been the only one playing her every once in a while. I think it was only 2 games or so, and they were both wins as well. But not that many other teams seem to like her that much just yet. We got Lifestealer banned out as well, and on the side of Team Spirit, Medusa and Gyrocopter removed from the pool.
Tundra really like Mirana. That's like a sneaking special. I really like his build. Mira does it as well, where you go for this vessel, maybe mech, maybe pipe, but just this aura carrier. And ultimately, your damage output is still solid because arrow into Starstorm is just easy 600, 700, 800 damage depending on the length.
So we haven't really discussed Spirit's opener actually. So Wyvern, we mentioned her already last pregame, but she is nerfed, but she still definitely does have a place in the meta if you're picking her against what she's good at, which is heavy physical damage or something to counter initiate against. So far, it doesn't seem like a great Wyvern game.
No, it doesn't. And I like the ban real quick of the Lifestealer from Empire because right now, I like the scenario and the Hoodwink. It's weird. This is the caster curse. You know, you say, oh, Hoodwink's just been nerfed into the ground. So, of course, they 5th pick it right away. But
she's their follow-up damage, right? You need, when you pick an axe and you're playing around an axe call, you do need follow-up damage or something like an arrow, and Hoodwink's a great follow-up.
Yeah.
It's just that if you cut her tree down now, she just doesn't do any damage.
Yeah, I totally agree. I just love what Empire's done here. They learned from their mistakes. Not a Lich, no. Omni, Sven. The combination of the patch, the 1-2 punch, Spirit, probably one of your best counters in the Morphling, picked up immediately. But right now, Empire, I think, has a pretty firm grasp on the game. They're certainly going to have mid-game control. Their team fight is insane, and there's really nobody that hits Egg. Yeah, Morphling can do it, but end of the day, you're going to have a natural Vessel carrier, and theoretically, if you look at Spirit's lineup, you really don't have the sort of skill or spell-based damage that Empire's draft brings. You also don't have an Omni-Knight.
I have a question.
Yes.
Hoodwink, Winter Wyvern, normally both played by Mipashka. Which one do you want to see as the 4 and which one do you want to see as the 5?
I think the Hoodwink has to be a 4.
Yeah?
It just doesn't make sense to have Wyvern be a 4 because even her offensive spells got nerfed as well. So it's just not that potent. I think Hoodwink with levels would just make me in earlier rotations, but it just depends on who they like to play it more. We've seen Miposhka play Hoodwink at the major, but I'm pretty sure
99% sure it's a Wyvern.
You would prefer it be the Wyvern 5?
I would, because it just feels like a waste to put such a nerfed hero on a higher farm priority.
Fair enough.
Like I said, I like Empire's draft a lot more this game, but I just look at this and feel like they're so boxed in just due to the whole first pick thing. It's a good lineup, don't get me wrong, but we have Sven. Okay, enemy team got Morph. Now you're last pick in your mid, and Spirit have the answer.
But here's the thing, right? So on paper, this is a good Morph game. Like, Morph does fine against all of these heroes, and he has a good carry matchup against Sven. But look how durable Mars, Omni, and Sven are, right? They're not going to get shotgunned by this Morphling, and if they're not going to die to his physical damage unless the Omni dies first. So while on paper, yes, Morphling can pop off, absolutely, they do have a means to deal with him slightly, just in terms of how beefy they are.
Yep, and Storm's pretty perfect in that it's going to be, I think, one of the best heroes to play with an Omni Knight, just because heal bomb damage, and you're excellent to be cleansed into any sort of status resist, but more importantly, you're going to catch the Wyvern, the Hoodwink, the Morphling, and you have so much beef behind you that if you can just start the fight, this is what Empire had a lot of issues with in the previous game, then you're likely going to win it just because your team fight is so strong.
This looks like a dangerous game for Hoodwink and Wyvern.
Yeah, I would not want to be playing either of these heroes.
Because, yeah, if Storm is Heavenly Graced and he goes in, he's not even afraid of the Axe Call, because that's your most reliable way to catch him. Like, yes, you can curse Storm and then have Axe or Hoodwink follow up, so there definitely is a way to catch him this game. But if he does go in with that status resist, that threat is kind of negated, right? And you do want to put the Heavenly Grace on the Sven, but if they're going to use the Storm as their primary initiator later on in the game, he does have that backup behind him. So it looks like a great Storm game. They're probably going to counterpick him with a very strong lane counter right now just to try to slow him down.
I actually need, you don't have to just counter the lane, you need to kill the Omni Knight. Because I'm thinking any hero that gets graced feels really good. You know, save the Phoenix, get HP, give him a little bit of damage, maybe that's necessary, who knows, but the egg's going to get off. You don't really mind your Storm or Mars getting a whole bunch of bonus strength, and they go to the Queen of Pain. Now this is a confident pick because it's similar to the previous game. Quap has to go off. You need a fast Orchid. You got to end this game with less than 3 deaths, and just pop off. Because you end up playing into a couple of BKBs, you kill a stun, like you're just dead. There's no real save. Yeah, you can get cold embrace, but that's not going to keep you alive if you're Orchided or Spirit to a tree.
But Spirit this time are the low cooldown lineup. If they can hit their stride, they can just keep the pressure up really hard. It's just that it feels like there's a lot on them to kill the priority targets first, the number one being Omni Knight. So if they can do that, I really think they can run them over. But I see Storm having a great game if his laning stage doesn't go terribly.
I would agree.
So we like their lineup and we think they've solved the problems that they've had in game 1.
Yeah, I think this is one of the best first pick lineups I've seen, but they do have Omni Knight Sven.
They do.
So it's pretty. I feel like anytime you see that, it looks good. Clinks, I'm surprised we haven't seen today. That hero is just about that. But I think Empire certainly have the edge, but it really depends. Do the Morph and Quap pop off? If you Toronto end this game with less than 3.5 deaths combined, they'll win.
That's
Otherwise,
very
trouble.
specific.
Oh, dari
I think
situ
they have a
cuy.
bit more leeway than 3.5 deaths.
Would you say 4.5?
I think they have leeway for sure. I'm not going to guess some random number.
Over under 4.5.
Each? Or combined? They have more leeway than 3.5. They can each die.
Dari mic-nya sih, nggak tahu
Okay,
gua.
well, thank you very much. We're going to find out how game 2 rather, is going to play out. Will there be a third game in the series, or will Team Spirit roll over Team Empire with the 2-0? We're finding out together with Sunspan and Tico.
Nggak tahu, aku.
Thank you, panel. I learned a lot about odds and whatnot of deaths that nobody could answer definitively. Sunspan here with T-Governor. How are you doing, Teague? I forgot to ask you in game 1.
I'm doing splendid. Thank you for. How are you doing? Are you doing
terrific? Just fabulous. Thank you for asking. So, panel kind of talked about it, but the Omni Knight with Sven and even, I mean, the old school combo is actually Omni Knight Storm with Repel, where it was just magic immunity. Still, I mean, Effie was talking about it a bit as well. Still a pretty good combo, since he's going to be initiating in. Nice here to have a bunch of status resist on, so does feel like a very, very good Omni game.
Yeah, we've seen Omni Knight throughout the tournament so far, mostly paired with Sven, but it's the idea that you buff up that hero, you run him in, and you take those cheap fights and you keep going. The main thing is you need to cushion it with multiple ways to start a fight so that you don't feel like you're at a disadvantage because you have this kind of enabling support. Like Omni Knight in the game, he doesn't really do much other than go on buddy, you go take that fight. So this draft from Empire is a big, stemming from the previous cup, the evolution, where they were able to just identify their problems and they've simplified their game now. They've gone for the Storm to jump in, Omni's enabling everyone. The real question is, will Sven go for a Blink Dagger this game or will he not? Again, will we find out? I'll think about that as the cast develops, if he needs it or not, but I think 90% of the time you can just say, yes, please buy it.
Yes, for sure. They do have a lot of blink cancels technically, but considering the way that they were fighting last game, you're just blinking from like the fog anyway, so it's, I would expect it, but we'll see. You never know. I do want to talk a bit about Collapse's axe. So my boy got hit pretty hard in the patch with the whole shard situation, so you basically just can't play him as carry anymore, which I know a lot of people are very happy with. I'm not in that camp. Very sad indeed. Do you think shard is... Have you even seen it in a game?
I've not seen it in a game yet, no. Yeah. The main thing here is the hero has lost his ability to use the shard, which was the illusions, would right click and spin as well, so you push everything out, you incorporate the entire map as your own farm. The main thing here is now actually back to the old days, where you're just going to go for Blink, Flamel, BKB, like maybe you go for like the Vanguard, like, you can buy just tanky stuff again. And that is critical here, because Collapse in this game with this type of draft from Spirit, Collapse has to have a perfect start to the game. He needs to have that quick Vanguard, Blink, pairing up with the Quap, getting these early kills with the Hoodwink, and if this lane doesn't go that well, it will be pretty hard because, like we mentioned, you don't have that farming mechanism, which is the shard to just kind of catch back up in these harder games.
Yeah, that is true. So, I guess you're right. It is kind of like the old axe now.
Yeah.
We've just lost the versatility. Now he's just a one-shot pony, or I don't even know what the saying is. I just made that up, but I'm sure that you get the idea.
It's because ponies do shoot.
That's true.
They have guns, akimbo.
American ponies. Yeah.
Yeehaw.
What do you think of Morphling this game, in this matchup?
It goes well for the principle of Spirit, which is we want to fight Sven. You carry that can bind himself, dip in and out of the fights, choose what he wants. They mentioned on the panel as well, like the tankiness of heroes. I think the E-Blade build, it could run into problems if you're not rolling over the game, and potentially just having like Manta, Satanic, Butterfly, Skadi, and just becoming the right clicker where Spirit can kind of prop up and push into the fights might be better. So far on the quick buy we see him with the treads, the Morbid Mask, and the Manta, so maybe going just for that route, because I think that is your stable way to play the game. I think going for the E-Blade is just you're going to run into too many issues. It's like all your eggs into the basket of let's blow up a hero. And
I mean, speaking of eggs in one basket, I don't know if I qualify her as this, but typically Quap, and again, we had this discussion briefly in the last game, but typically picked up as a hero, at least historically, is I win my lane against pretty much every other hero, and then hopefully I snowball.
Yeah, that's pretty much
the panel was kind of talking about the importance of that. We're going to see the Stormhammer come in, Mira, inside the trees, but first blood goes the way of Vanscore.
Steps up a little bit too far and then does get beaten down. We've seen some lanes with Sven Omni actually go for an Ob Venom, but we're not seeing that here. That is simply just Mira being a little bit out of position and then getting slapped down by the Purification and the right clicks of Sven. But yeah, going back to your point about the Quap, it's very much a hero that it thrives on bullying the mid and then also farming your lane, utilize that small camp. But you see how the Storm's Raider Presskid, he's changed up his playstyle. He's fully ditched mid lane. You can't beat me if I'm just jungling. Don't do this in your pubs, guys. Don't just default go to jungle straight away on Storm. But like, it's the idea that why give Spirit this last pick advantage of the Quap? Let's just get our own farm. Like Storm's game, he needs to get that quick Orchid, or maybe even just like the Kaya Sanj to be even tankier with the status of this. Like he needs to be able to enter the fights. And if he was just sitting mid, he would be on his high ground, maybe farming 2 out of every 4 creeps. So I like the fact that he's just ditched the lane and it's just a farm war, which Storm will win if you just go jungle for jungle.
Well, piggybacking off that point, the fact that Toronto Tokyo already put 2 in Shadow Strike means he's going to be farming way less effectively as opposed to him going a max of Scream of Pain early, right? But my assumption is that Presskid went mid to make sure that Shadow Strike was actually leveled, and then he went to the jungle.
Yeah, and now we're seeing the effect of just jungling because Storm's having to run back to base, Quap isn't, and surprisingly, like they're even on net worth. And this is just like a pure jungle Storm compared to like the hero in the lane. And then the natural...
That sets a very bad precedent for pubs.
It does, yeah. Just give up on the lanes, guys. The jungle's where it's at. But of course, Dota 101, if you're jungling compared to laning, of course, the person in lane will have more XP. So Quap will be activated a little bit earlier in this game, maybe seeing that rotation in to help Collapse and Mirror in this off lane. because it's not as going as great as expected.
Yeah. And Toronto Tokyo is going to be able to get the second water rune on the buy. I believe he got both, in fact.
He's having a free time.
Yeah,
it's
just like he's playing against bots and they just don't remember to come out of fountain.
You're not pinging correctly to corral the bots into the right place of the map.
I mean, from Team Spirit's perspective, do you want to try to find this storm in the jungle before you hit 6? Like, how much resources do you want to invest into trying to get this guy?
It's too difficult to do that because Dota is a game where like you're very much locked into like 2-1-2, right? Unless you see the unconventional like tri-lane situation, which opens up a support cleave earlier. When you start as double heroes in dual lane, breaking that is you're gonna naturally let that core be hindered. So I think right now it is gonna be just Storm having his time chilling and farming, and Toronto Tokyo. You can't lose a lane if no one's in it, and you can't also win it.
That's boy. Maposhka actually shows up with no HP mid, and Depreska is going to get the kill as a result, but it's going to be a trade with the Shadow Strike. Yeah. Will not get out, so it's a 1-for-1.
All right. You know what? That
I actually don't know if that was good.
I was flabbergasted over Maposhka just poking his head up.
Yeah.
It was like, please take me, oh almighty jungle Storm.
Well, maybe he was just surprised that he was even 6 coming out of the jungle.
Yeah.
I mean, he has been leveling pretty decently.
We get to see it here. The press kid just, well, thank you. You're just offering yourself up to me. But of course, Toronto Tokyo with the ultimate and the mirror being in position is able to get the kill.
If the bushwhack wasn't there, maybe
he just zips out.
Yeah.
That would have been amazing. That would have warranted a tip for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt. As Collapse, 12 seconds faster on the old Vanguard special here.
And this is what you want to see. And also the biggest weakness of Omni Sven, you don't really, you don't crush lanes, you don't win lanes. You just kind of exist and farm. And it's like why, Warlock Spectre, Omni Knight plus Sven, Ench plus anything. You're always just kind of like enabling. And that's where Vanscore, he's trying to find his efficiencies right now on the map, make up some stacks. If Collapse just pokes his head over and steals them, Vanscore is going to be pretty up.
Yeah, indeed. Well, another aspect of the game where, like, Axe versus Omni Knight actually feels pretty good in general, right? Because Counter Helix is pure damage, so it doesn't bother you.
Yep.
Heavenly Grace is a hard dispel, but it actually does not take off Berserker's Call, so the Heavenly Grace has to be
kan kalau kayak gini udah ada suaranya, cuy.
Right? So
it's also a melee starting to immediately carry, so like positioning would unlock Axe to hit these bigger calls. We've seen Omnis maybe go for Aether Lens, but
yeah. See a call there. Vanscore has to use the Purification, and Collapse is going to go back to hitting creeps. He's the top farmer in the game right now. Smiling Knight not too happy about this, though.
Muka guanya hilang, kocak.
It's like, all right, what do you think you're going to do, buddy?
This is the type of positioning, and you can learn from this, where it's like he's playing in a way that if he dies, it's the Phoenix and the Storm or the Mars coming down arena. And these are big rotations, big spells, where Collapse dying, it allows this Morphling to keep farming, allows Co-op to hit that next wave. So the way that Collapse is playing, it's like, if you kill me,
baru mantap. Ini tinggal ini gua
if you
doang.
don't kill me, I'm going to be top net worth in the game, Phase, Vanguard, Blink. So yeah, it is just an aura of confidence, and it's a natural way to play this hero.
Mana integrated kamera gua nggak ke-detect, cu.
Yeah, it feels nice. Feels nice, especially when Vanguard is actually good, which, historically speaking, it hasn't always been the case, but for the last couple patches it has been. Is Depressed Kid gonna take a Sonic Wave and a right click from Toronto Tokyo? So, panel talked about him popping up. We're seeing that right now as Vanscore gets caught out by Mira to start things out.
Jadi ada noise lagi, coy.
Don't chase him down any further.
And they do know the stacks are there, so maybe.
But no, Stormhammer with the God Strength into the Purification. Mira quite fast, and with that Bushwhack, yeah. But again, Smiling Knight, like you said, there's a stack here, so no worse for him.
Yeah, he farms the stack, but then meanwhile, Collapse being very efficient on his hero, always taking the creep wave, connecting it with a jungle camp, which means you have this kind of dire creep wave pressure, and he's always just, looking at 4.4k net worth, living the dream.
All right, enemy stacks now. It's not a huge one by any means, but
dari kameranya sih ini,
still be happy
sumpah.
with that regardless.
Yeah.
And Toronto Tokyo, we're going to see the initiation here from Depressed Kid. Mira, with the Stormhammer.
Pas kameranya ada, noise, nging gitu.
So you can see the vision here is finally taken out by Maposhka. But looking at the item timings for Toronto Tokyo, we're actually going to see the
The impact move for Mr. Queen of Pain. Justin, look at this.
That was an impact observer play as well.
That's clutch.
I think production just flexing that they caught the spell, if anything.
I think we need to rename it to Observer Clutch.
Can we get a picture of JJ or Scriff there rather than Toronto Tokyo?
Yeah.
T-Tours were very close, but...
Here we go with the Observer Clutch 2021.
Now they're flexing that they have two observers.
All right,
That's just filthy.
Mana?
Very impressive. Maybe
Tuh
we can
kan.
see that one more time in about 10 minutes with no context
Ini dari-
whatsoever, as we're going to see Vanscore trying to deny
Dari
himself to
kameranya
the Ancients, but Toronto Tokyo
ternyata.
will take that one for himself. So Orchid is pretty decently close, only a couple minutes away probably from finishing that, and expecting
Dari
to snowball from
kameranya,
there.
bro.
Motion's getting initiated from Depressed Kid into Shashlo's
Bentar.
spear, and that is a 1-for-1 across the board, so 2 supports.
Yeah, the way that Depressed Kid's playing now, he feels like he's under pressure of the quad. Yeah, I know what you're checking for, don't worry. I've already had a little look. There aren't any of the pig poles.
No. It's
don't
fairy
say
trinket.
no to me. You were actively looking.
No, I was looking for fairy trinket. I was going to make sure he picked
please.
it up.
Oh,
This did
please.
get nerfed. It's 25 less
Nah,
HP.
video
Crazy,
capture-nya
But for a Storm Spirit,
gua
this is the
matiin.
best tier 1 item. You usually keep it through to tier 3s, I want to say, on average.
There's nothing really else that you need.
Kenapa ya masih nginging gitu loh?
But yeah, Storm now has the fairy
Coba
trinket,
dari
as you
belakang ya.
expertly mentioned, but it's the idea that he wants to dodge the jungle now and actively try and connect with his Mars, try and make some moves, because right now Spirit's the one that they're farming every lane, making every move, and look at Collapse. He is the biggest of all axes. Maybe he goes down to a rotation here.
Yeah, with the Storm coming in as well, already half HP, and finally taking out the pesky Collapse. And that'll feel good. Like after a whole game so far of just having to deal with his garbage, Vanguard just running around, just being unkillable. It's got to feel good.
Yeah, the key thing there is like it's been 11 minutes of Collapse having his own game, and you needed to kill him at least once, so that in the back of his mind he's like, can I farm there again? Because Storm didn't have to use TP for that. He walked down and then zipped into the engagement.
Yeah, quick fingers on that Quelling Blade.
Very nice.
Very impressive indeed. Yeah, more stacks.
Is he going to die though for this? There is.
Gets a good portion of them, but now Toronto, Tokyo, and Yataro have made their transition over, and Collapses here as well. And at the Sonic Wave, not quite enough, but the Culling Blade is enough indeed, as Vanscore now going to get chased down. Wrong place, wrong time. Just trying to help his teammate, but Omni Knight will end up dropping. So Toronto, Tokyo is dominating right now, and I believe his Orchid is on the way. Yep, 4-0.
But if you check the Storm as well, only like 150 goals away. So we're going to have a jungle Storm versus a laning Pain.
That's a nice stack too.
Big stack.
And Mira's going to steal some XP. Depressed Kid, all right, Sharpshooter.
Nah, udah nggak nginging, cuy.
Very successful.
Tadi jadi.
It's that fairy tale, man. Just
Tadi itu dari kamera berarti, bro.
to sidestep Sharpshooter.
I wish I had a camera on my face right there. My whole body
That was like a
sunk.
cringe.
Yeah, that was a big cringe.
Sekarang tuh udah nggak nginging lagi.
Fake
Mantap
until you
lah.
make it, T-Gov. Yeah, that's what I believe 33 said on his.
Absolutely.
Look at this.
See the replay of the Sharpshooter.
Emang iya dah. Nggak akan nginging lagi lah.
Oh, look at that. What a god, actually. Beautifully done. Oh, speaking of which, Mira now getting chased. Smiling Knight, or to use the Storm Hammer. We have the Phoenix here as well. Sharpshooter to give them a little bit of distance, but the spear.
He wished he had a fairy trinket. That's 75 HP.
That's true. He was very close to not dying.
Oh, we actually do we have no pick poles?
I don't think so.
That is wow. The game heard to talk about pick
I would
poles.
like to make a request to Valve, if they're watching, that when a pig pull is picked up, like from the jungle, have an oink sound globally. As we're gonna see an easy kill on Maposhka. Smiling Knight still in that god strength. It's just tapering off now.
Yeah, the nice thing right now from Empire is they have invaded these stacks early on, so Storm's going to find his Orchid, Sven has now gone to the top net worth, and they are playing in a way that they
Sini kita lihat dari tim Spirit pakai Phoenix, bukan dari Empire ya. Dari Empire tuh pakai Phoenix, pakai Storm Spirit, Omni Knight, Mars sama Sven. Sven masih di pick ya. Kalau dari tim Spirit itu pakai Winter Wyvern, pakai Morphling, terus pakai si Axe ya.
Getting chased a little bit more. Depressed Kid has the haste, he's going to get silenced, but yeah, there's the hard dispel. Heavenly Grace is there. All right, spear Better be careful here. The full embrace, but the Morphling dies. And
Widih.
now collapse, limping away.
Ini baru warnya lebih seru daripada yang pertama, cuy.
Looks like he'll live. That is a huge kill. Very unexpected too.
Well, the Morphling was shifted all the way into Agi, and then he got cold embrace, so he just kind of sat there like, I'm dead. And they had just enough magical damage to eat through the cold embrace, so unfortunate for Moposhka there, killing off his Morphling. And you saw Spirit, like the reason why they wanted to take that fight is because the innate tankiness of Morphling, you can kind of bait them into the dive, and then suddenly the axe call comes in.
Dan roll tertinggi masih Sven ya. Emang si ini yang si siapa? Yang pakai Svennya tuh dari tadi jago banget farmingnya.
Playing with a little bit more conviction right now, due to the simplicity of like Storm go in, just follow up, and like we're yet to see like the arena, the egg really come into play and just like truly dominate a fight. A lot of skirmishing right now from Empire.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, we get to see the replay.
Tuh lihat tuh, buka arena. Storm Spiritnya masuk.
I cannot believe Toronto Tokyo got out of this. He was like a right click away from falling.
Really trying to go for a series MVP.
Svennya masuk juga tuh, langsung aksinya juga kabur.
Pretty good calls thus far.
It was a definite lifesaver there.
Do we get to see the replay which extends all the way to here? Oh no. Luckily they didn't make an impact play.
Tapi kalau di late game memang berat juga sih, itu ada Morphling juga kan. Instant kill semua. Tapi bisa ke counter sih sama Spirit.
Very minute plays there which really transpire to Spirit's downfall.
Yeah, Smiling Knight on the Sven, Echo Saber, Blink. We talked about at the beginning of the game. We're going to see initiation here.
Tuh lihat dia udah nggak mikir.
And Shoshlo.
Oh, ada Hoodwing, Storm Spiritnya langsung.
So 2K network lead now for Empire, but here's the counter call collapse. Only finds one, but it is a Storm Spirit. They're going to find this. This will be pretty huge. Indeed, they came with the Sonic Wave Orchid combination, but Smiling Knight has come in with a nice.
Di ulti aja sama WW-nya. Siapa yang diserang?
Toronto Tokyo is pretty happy with this position on the high ground.
Salah, dia cuma ada si Mars doang, jadi nggak ada damage, coy.
Toronto Tokyo very confident. He's getting healed that Shadow Strike, mind you.
Massive heals.
Very, very big heals.
Let's see the healing stat.
Kalau misalnya itu mati,
for sure.
Banyak mati tuh Sven-nya.
Posturing a little bit here. Smiling Knight still has his God Strength activated. He's going to jump in the Wyvern, not able to take him out. The Cold Embrace on himself. Beautifully done. That's just enough time to take out Smiling Knight now. So jumps into no avail. Now the egg comes through.
Kena semua sama telur Phoenix-nya cuy, pecah dia tuh telur ceplok.
The key thing is they are missing their big damage source, which is the Storm Spirit. They're going for like these initiation plays, but it's in like inside the tree line, right? You're blinking in, you're losing fog, you're getting back on them. It is not the cleanest engagement for Empire, and but at least like they're showcasing that they have that threat. And Spirit, they bring in Charo for the first time in the fight. Oh, look at the healing done. Look at that. That's a meaty 3.
Wow. You know,
How selfish though.
Each tick of Shadow Strike is a water rune now. 40 HP. Oh, another jump in from the press kid. Yeah, this is going to be a freebie every single time that he's in vicinity. But a nice call.
Si Storm Spirit-nya tuh udah nggak mikir lagi, dia ada musuh lihat langsung maju, ada musuh lihat maju mati. Tadi kan si Hoodwing-nya, sekarang si Winter Wyvern-nya mati.
Support hero shows, execute them with the Storm Spirit, kill them. But the thing with their lineup is the Omni Knight is great at enabling, but he needs to be in range, right? And when Storm jumps so far back, like there isn't that +1 to help them out. Like when Sven gets Blink and BKB, sure. When Martin's BKB, sure. But right now, they need to make sure the kills they find aren't too deep into Spirit, because like they are happily going to be in position. And like the way that Empire's playing right now, they might have Sven at top net worth, but Spirit is
18 detik tuh, Morphling-nya udah bikin manta. Tapi rekor tercepat gua tuh jadi manta tuh 11 menit.
It's the Morphling, the high mobility heroes that are playing on the fringe of the map and then TPing in. Like Collapse is playing a really clean game.
Ya, tapi kan itu mainnya di Herald, coy. Kita kan masih Herald, masih cupu-cupu gimana gitu. Masih anak bawang.
And the question is, who gets the first Roche?
The team that smokes first and gets a pick off.
Neither team are crazy Roche takers. It's not going to be an instant one. As we see, this is going to be the rest of the game.
Agak ngeri juga Storm Spirit ya. Soalnya dari tadi aja game pertama di ban. Imba juga ternyata cuy.
If he's Heavenly Grace, he's not going to go for the call.
Oh wait, I just realized that is the play. This is the first time that the Omni Shard could be useful. He leaves it on autocast, doesn't right-click anything. The axe calls him and the guy going on damage mitigation to keep the axe from doing any damage in the call.
Incredible.
Relying on everyone else.
Quicksilver Amulet Naturals diambil sama Sven. Sven-nya sekarang di 9.700 network.
Yeah, not good.
It's pretty.
That was interesting. Toronto Tokyo used, for some reason I thought he had Ags just
Kurang
because
gede
of
ya,
how
suaranya
confident he
kita
uses
gedein
Sonic
lagi deh.
Wave on a creep wave top. And just
Nah.
backed up, and I mean, it's not the shortest cooldown.
But this should bait in Empire to take a fight mid, so if Spirit's in position, then they could look for the engagement.
All right, Smiling Knight feeling better. Oh, there's the
langsung
initiation.
kena.
Kind of didn't lay their stuns properly, but he looks like he's gonna be okay.
Tapi di heal aja sama si
Again onto the
Phoenix-nya.
Wyvern. Will this be
Lihat
enough to
itu,
get the kill?
waduh,
The Stormhammer
satu-satu
and the right click
di open
indeed.
aja arena.
Now two stuck inside the arena for Shashlo, but Yatara looks to be super healthy.
Kabur aja
and they're just
dari
gonna walk
morphingnya,
away.
nggak ada yang mati di sini.
So
Matinya
again,
cuma
just
Winter
the
Wyvern
Wyvern
doang,
kill.
coy.
But that is the hero you have to get at the beginning of the fight, it feels like.
Yeah, this is why I think I like the idea.
Gundul langsung hutannya nih. Coba kita lihat ulang ya.
Nice. 10 minutes ago we saw that. We did request that. Thank you very much.
Nggak ada yang
production.
lihat di
The
situ.
no context Sonic Wave. Mentioned, but I think you mentioned using it a lot.
Langsung di Sonic Wave dia.
Forgot about
Sekarat iya mati dia. Sama Toronto Tokyo-nya, bos.
That's good stuff, guys.
Yeah, so in
Very
30
good
minutes we'll see the top creep wave one and we'll talk about how that farm pattern at 20 minutes unlocked
Itu yang
a
tadi sih.
50-minute
Yeah,
engagement.
for sure.
Yeah,
Toronto
no
Tokyo looks like they're gonna find potentially a kill here.
Iya, mau kemana nggak bisa lari tuh.
Yeah.
So now that they're all here, we'll likely try to go for this tier 2 tie. The question is, will Empire try to defend?
Oh, BKB udah jadi.
I think Empire they're not going to look to defend because
Phoenix-nya mati di kill sama si siapa? Morphling.
And of course we mentioned the itemization from Morphling. Not going for the E-Blade, it would have somewhat griefed the game. Just going straight
Morphlingnya
for the
baru
Manta,
manta Morbid Max. Dia mau buat ini ya. Tadi kalau dilihat.
So really ensuring that he's just able to frontline and just tank up this damage.
Yeah, if you get
Biar
6,
life
that's
steal-nya
2
kencang
dispels.
juga kan.
So you don't have to worry about Orchid.
Yep.
In case you want to use Manta to farm and you don't have it up. Yeah,
Trying to be greedy.
Tapi kalau misalkan nempel late game juga lumayan ngeri sih. Asal morphingnya
Maybe he
nggak
thought he had Ags on
nggak kena tuh.
Maybe he misclicked. He was just trying
Dia
to
kan
scream.
otomatis
the
punya
wrong
agility paling tinggi
He
di
just
Dota.
screamed a little bit too loud.
Maybe. By the way, we haven't really talked about this, but the shard on this hero just
Oh,
feels...
Queen of Pain-nya tuh
this
jadi
feels like you
bukan
have to buy at some point in the game, right? The silence
Queen
applied
of Pain-nya
to
tuh jadi
Again, that's
support
crazy. The
di
nice
sini
thing about
tuh.
shards,
Enggak sih.
I think the best shards and stuff are ones that
Queen of Pain-nya
change up your
di
playstyle
safe lane.
once you're already like tanky enough or have a place in the game. And like this is the type of shard, but once you've got BKB, Shivas, and you're able to get in and out, having that extra little bit of silence.
Smoke
that AoE,
dinyalain di sini
it
sama
is
Team
very
Empire.
disruptive for sure, but you need like
Tapi
I like
nggak tahu
this
mau
kind of
kemana.
optimization, right? The Kaya,
Team Empire
Savage,
belum
a
nemu
Lincolns
siapa-siapa
or a
sih.
BKB or something. Then you go for the casual shard.
Okay. Looking forward to it. As Collapse is going to get collapsed upon by Team Empire. He is
Langsung
quite tanky,
aja
but
tuh
this is basically their
di
whole team,
Sunray,
so
mantap.
we'll be able to
Mati
take him
langsung
out.
dari
I don't
axe-nya,
like using
bro.
the phrase, but uncharacteristic positioning from Collapse there, because he's been playing so nicely in the jungle behind his team, counter-initiating. But that kind of like
Langsung ke Roshan nih, Tim Empire
Rambo
Roshan
style,
pertama ya.
radiant
Kalau yang
T1
tadi kan
aggression, it is the type of
tim
move that unlocks Roshan. And like you
Spirit yang
mentioned, how easy it is
mendominasi,
to Roshan
sekarang
by
Tim
the
Empire.
team. I mentioned
Bisa
like
jadi
smoke
BO3
ganks and
ini.
kills and that stuff, but when you
Kalau
play like
dilihat-lihat.
that, then it just simplifies the game for Empire.
Yeah, if you're able to get a kill with your God Strength and then still have it up to go for Roche, then
For sure,
absolutely.
yeah.
And now you have the best Aegis carry in the entire game is Storm Spirit. Depressed Kid. Looks like they have vision here. Yutaro.
Oh, di situ
In
ada
all
ini tuh.
agility, he's
Langsung
gonna jump
dimajuin
in,
aja.
but the Orchid not quite there. Of course, he has the Manta anyway. He's going to reserve the Orchid for
Gak bisa
Cormier.
kemana-mana dari Hoodwing-nya, cuy.
Collateral damage. Mir, of course, playing there just to enable the Morphling to survive. If they play there,
Diambil.
the
Aegis-nya
support,
diambil
like,
sama
you gotta die for your team.
ini ya, Storm
And it is
Spirit.
always comical when these Sven players, they play one game as Sven, don't buy a blink, and the next game they rush it second item. They're like, this is good. So now we're seeing Smiling Knight. We've not really seen it have impact
Cocok
yet,
emang
but
pakai
he's
Sven.
very happy to take engagement.
Namanya Smiling
Same with
Knight.
BKB, Blink Dagger. Then he's going back for his, his Silver Edge.
Satria senyum.
So how does this work exactly? So you jump in, you Storm Hammer, then you use Silver Edge to just get a crit. Is that even worth it?
I honestly would just, you still have a crit default because you have the Chrysalis. I'd rather him just...
But it's like a weak crit, right? It's not like a Daedalus.
Alright, crits can be any size they want to
Dia ke atas semua, sedangkan tim dari tim Spirit di bawah semua. Nge-push turret bawah, tower bawah, di-push dia.
Whatever crit wants to be. But anyway,
Sama Morphling-nya.
Pop ult, blink in, hit the stun.
Morphling-nya juga udah punya manta sih, enak banget buat nge-push
I
kayak
think it
gitu.
just gives like options in the fight. That's the key thing, right? Like you don't need to force yourself down the route of I need to Shadow Blade in, get the right click. This is the nice way of doing it.
Right. It's not like you're breaking anything like super. Like I guess counter Helix is the best
Finishnya langsung TP ke bawah ya, teleport ke bawah cuy.
Yeah, like see what he's doing here? Like he's running around using the move speed, poking his way in.
Langsung dinyalain aja smoke-nya.
Shadowblade in general just gives you an ability to use Blink Dagger more
Dari tim
effectively.
Secret, iya kena Storm Spirit-nya nggak bisa kabur, mati. Tapi masih ada Aegis. Langsung aja war kayaknya. Teman-temannya pada datang nih, teman-teman gue datang bro, gue nggak takut. Langsung kena Winter Wyvern-nya mati, Hoodwink-nya juga mati tadi, langsung kena si Mars, sama si Sven.
So now they need to look to actually try and take an objective. Because like this type of play from Spirit, like you're delaying, of course you take the Aegis, right? But Empire's gonna feel a little bit uncomfortable that they did trade Aegis for 2 supports. Like killing Morphling
langsung di TB aja turretnya, towernya tuh. Sven. Sedangkan Marsnya lagi ngumpat, dia nungguin momen.
And Guitarro did finish that Satanic by the way, and is that gonna be an E-Blade or is that a butterfly?
Di TP aja, sedangkan yang itunya si bayangannya aja sih.
A best of both. Because normally like you don't see them go for Satanic before. It's like Manta E-Blade.
Dia baru membuat Ethereal. Ethereal, abis Ethereal langsung ke tadi apa?
Manta Satanic just to survive, then
Skadi ya. Iya langsung ke Skadi. Oh diculik aja langsung Phoenix-nya. Ada Hoodwink, tapi masih kurang damage. Kabur, bisa kabur cuy. Phoenix-nya. Tapi dia masih ada telur. Pinter banget. Telur enggak. Enggak telur dia. Padahal kalau telur itu bisa banyak sih, tapi bisa mati lagi sih. Sayang juga telurnya.
The hero you need for team fight. And on the other side, it just has to be Omni Knight.
But this is
so crucial to their strat.
This is why the hero is so popular in the previous patch. Of course, like the physical damage, the aggressive core style of Wyvern's been nerfed, but like the supporting Wyvern's still the same hero, and it has the same principle of like an Oracle. In the game, Empire's one job is we must find the Wyvern. If we don't
nanti ada lagi ya jam 1.
we cannot take a fight. And I think that's kind of why Empire again baited in some of these engagements because like they see a glimpse.
Bisa jadi kebalik sih, bisa jadi ini comeback dari tim Spirit juga. Langsung aja tuh lihat. Kabur dulu.
He did take him to half HP though. He's trying to cut the wave here.
Just, hitting on bottom.
All you have to do is shadow strike with the AoE and you're
dari tim Spirit nge-push dari bottomnya, sedangkan dari ini dari di midnya tim Empire tuh. Lihat ini yang tadi. Pinter banget Phoenix-nya, nggak mati. Kurang damage.
Toronto Tokyo, let's see. Jump in. There you go. Some more damage.
Toronto Tokyo nggak ada damage cuy, pakai Queen of Pain-nya, KOP-nya, KOP.
I mean, he ended up baiting his team. It was kind of like save your friend syndrome, right? For the most part. So it is what it is. It's a Dota game after all.
But now Empire, they smoke up. They feel like they should be able to win any big team fight, but Spirit are not offering them up right now, and this smoke might be the one.
Yeah, they're coming from above, and Toronto Tokyo is at base, so they have to be really careful here.
Mundur langsung kelihatan ini. Bahaya juga ini, mati nih. Oh langsung diincar WW-nya. Oh masih hidup, dia punya STR juga kan. Tapi kena stun ya. Oh langsung TP bro. Cuma bisa nge-kill Winter Wyvern-nya. Dari Yatoro Morphling nge-pause the game. Nggak tahu ada apa ini, mungkin ada gangguan koneksi. Oh ini yang tadi lagi ya.
We're saying this for I believe the 4th time now. I'm not sure what the record is to show irrelevant highlights throughout the game, but I'm sure we'll hit it.
I think it's a test. I think it's a test on the viewers. Like, are they actually watching?
What is this?
Oh ngeliat lagi yang tadi, berapa kali diulang-ulang.
This is a very
Kenapa diulangi terus? Sakit banget sumpah KOP-nya.
You don't have the technology. That's really unfortunate.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Don't worry, guys. You didn't miss anything.
It's a little bit biased, I think. They're really reminding us that Storm died, right?
Yeah. He's having himself a pretty good game, though. I mean, despite that, he's like 1,500 down versus Toronto Tokyo, so not too shabby at all. Lincoln's now online, though.
Empire has to make sure that when they take a fight, if they locate the Wyvern, they don't use too many resources. Like, you can't have your Sven blink onto the Wyvern and the Storm zip, because then you don't have that next follow-up, that kind of +1.
Right.
And it is
3
kind of
orang dari
morphing, did go for
Mopling,
this
COP
more
sama
tanky style of build. He
Hoodwingnya
realizes,
nge-smoke.
like, my
Nah,
wives in
kelihatan
tank
juga
style
kan.
as Phoenix
Kelihatan langsung di geng aja.
flies off the map.
Kabur
It's
dia lewat
unbroken, by the
atas,
way, guys.
cuy.
It's just in the game. It is a feature, not a bug.
Kabur lewat
Yeah.
atas langsung teleport ya. Pinter banget. Sumpah ini Phoenix dari tadi di geng gagal mulu.
Fair enough. I
Cuma
feel
tadi
like
sih
the,
nggak
if
hoki
you're
aja
able to do that, you
ditungguin
should
dia.
appear on the other side of the map, you know, because Earth
Okay.
Langsung dapat
Earth
info
isn't
kan.
flat.
That would be
You
an
don't fall off.
interesting.
Ada di bawah semua.
Right now, Dota does, promote flat Earth.
That is true. If it was around, yeah.
If it was around, he'd just
That's
appear on
true.
the other corner.
Or maybe there's just content yet to be released.
Outpostnya langsung
That's why
di
we haven't seen it.
capture aja sama
Just over
tim
that hill, a
Spirit.
whole new world.
Right.
Biar dia
right,
gampang TP-TP juga kan.
But you're still in
Tapi
agreement
jadi
that,
ketahuan cuy.
Valve and Dota are very much a pro flat Earth.
No
With their
comment. No comment on that one.
Flying on a turtle through. Okay, no, just checking.
Mau
That sounds a
clear
little bit
mid
like
dulu
Avatar,
kalau.
actually, so I wouldn't mind that personally.
Oh, ditungguin juga.
Sure.
Kan? Sama-sama nunggu dia.
I'm sure you've done that
Sound
successfully.
Spirit sama KOP-nya nih, dua
We're
mid.
gonna see Blast Rig, by the way. I don't know who's actually picked it up right now. I have yet to cast the game with it. Looks like it might be going to Mars. Yeah, he's gonna hold that for him. So what are
OTW
your
Shark,
thoughts on
bro.
this neutral?
Phoenix-nya.
The idea of the item is pretty cool because you are taking away the ability for some heroes to jump on top of you and instantly
Masih
kill
di
you. So the
patch
idea is that, like, it
7.30
disarms them, but
nih,
it's not
beda
like a
banget sama
halberd
patch-patch
disarm, it's more like a-
sebelumnya. Sekarang
a
udah
debuff,
7.30b.
It's like whirling axes.
Yeah,
'Smoke nih,
the
nyalain
concept
aja
is
itu.
really nice to use
55-nya
for
langsung
supports in
smoke.
some games. It
Kayaknya
just
mau ke
forces out
atas
the
nih.
BKB. And I honestly just like it. It
Ya
adds
kan,
new
langsung mau
layers
ke
to
atas,
support
mau
VX
ngejeng nih, 3-an.
later into the game.
Oh, smiling
Nah,
knight.
dapat
Initiation, but he
span-nya,
has a
bro.
status resist, but that is a lot of
Mantap,
damage.
langsung mati.
Oh, and the falling blade
Sekarang
to
Omni
boot.
Knight-nya dikejar,
Vanguard not in
iya.
range for anything other than the
Nggak akan
original
selamat
Heavenly Grace, and he's
lu.
gonna get chopped down as a result.
Marsnya
So,
masih ada di
a
atas,
double
Marsnya di
kill
atas,
for
sedangkan Storm
Collapse.
Spirit-nya
If
pulang.
there was Roshan, they would take it.
Oh, Marsnya nggak dikejar ternyata.
Crazy positioning from this Fen, right? Like he's just all the way down in mid lane, just
I
by
mean, he feels
himself.
safe with the Heavenly Grace.
Cek Roshan,
That's not a
Roshan yang
BKB.
kedua.
It's a status resistance and why BKBs are superior.
That's true.
And why we don't need
Teleport aja
status
ke
resistance.
bawah.
But yeah, like, this Fen,
Kayaknya
he's in his,
Phoenix-nya
like,
udah
open
ketahuan
position.
nih. Phoenix-nya
And
tuh
it
udah
doesn't really
ketahuan,
kill. Like, the main thing
bakal
it does,
dicari
right?
juga.
If you're pushing
Nah,
lane,
kan
just shut,
dicari
right?
bener.
And the way in which Empire just played, Sven showed mid, he dies. Because of that
Datang
pickoff,
langsung
they
Storm
now take
Spirit-nya
this engagement
mati,
bottom.
nggak, oh
Yeah,
nggak
the
mati
press
cuy.
kid actually comes in to save his comrade.
Mati
He's gonna do
juga
more than
akhirnya
that.
Toronto
Actually
Tokyo.
destroys Toronto Tokyo. And
Dengan
pretty
Phoenix-nya
huge
langsung
kill.
berubah jadi telur kan.
And the Phoenix doesn't even die here.
Tapi dia masih
Gets off the
ketahuan
egg,
dong, dia naik ke
Sunray
atas.
Into the other side of the map. You guys can't see it, but he is on the other side.
Curang
But
bisa
then
naik ke
TP back to
tebing
base.
loh.
Yeah, of course, yeah, 100%. Yep. he was
Nyebelin.
smoked.
Naik ke
Yeah,
atas
like the
langsung
way that
TP.
Empire just played there, like the fact that they were able to get the egg off and kill Quap, it is a kind of disaster mitigation. Like, okay, wow, we got round it, we got saved our problem, but it's Spirit shouldn't be dying with a Quap bottom, right? They kill a Sven for free, move together, sweep across the map, get more kills. So of course Empire being gifted a little bit there, but they need to respect that both teams, if you're out of position, there's gonna be a Quap jump, an axe jump. If you're out of position on Spirit, there's gonna be a storm zip. Like,
Memantau, oh dapat dia langsung disamperin. Oh enggak. Berarti tadi Morplingnya bukan Morpling mid ya, Morplingnya Morpling safe lane. Langsung di situ nama Sven langsung buka. Oh enggak, buka. Kirain Sven-nya tuh punya BKB nggak sih? Oh punya ya. God modenya langsung
30
diaktifin
seconds
aja
for Roshan and Godstone's on
tanpa
gonna be on
BKB.
cooldown for another 80
Jadi nggak terlalu rugi-rugi banget lah.
Theoretically for Team Spirit now that God's strength is about to go away. So they do a 4-man smoke and Quap, Toronto Tokyo TPs into the outpost. Let's see if they can find something.
Axe-nya udah ada Vanguard sama Blade Mail. Lumayan lah buat nahan-nahan.
Okay. That's not bad actually.
Yeah, it's
definitely
like
a good Roche checker.
That's the same vision that the Underlord new Ags does as well, just in case anyone was
Nge-secure dulu outpost dianya ya. Outpost dari tim Spirit.
That is a cool name.
That is a cool.
That's a really cool name.
Soalnya tadi kan dikuasain sama tim Empire, jadi dia nge-secure dulu outpost atasnya dulu. Soalnya banyak warding juga kan dari tim Empire. Biar aman juga kan.
If it was instant, that's kind of hype, right? But you've got to stand there, I'd like...
It would be too broken, I think.
Maybe.
Nah, ini bakal perang di Roshan sih. Ditungguin sama tim Empire dari atas, nanti Empire juga udah smoke sih. Tapi ada ward di sana, ada sentry. Ditungguin. Ketahuan. Marsnya, iya, nggak tahu di cancel apa enggak. Nggak sih mancing-mancing doang. Morphingnya masih mancing-mancing terus. Sedangkan 4-0 langsung dibuka. Bakal diwarin nggak? Masih ditungguin. Nah, Storm Spirit-nya datang, langsung diperangin aja depan arena. Ya, rata ini kayaknya. Oh enggak, Storm Spirit-nya mati cuy. Oh mati sama Mopley-nya. GG Gaming coy. Oh BKB udah dibuka dua-duanya. Mars sama Sven buka BKB. Dikejar sama Axe. Nah, finishnya sekarang di EUL aja nih. Masih bisa kabur nggak dia? Enggak, udah sakit banget sumpah Mopley-nya.
Yeah, Empire just kind of emulating what their hindrance in
Free
game one.
Roshan,
So the idea
Roshan
that,
kedua.
be it a Night Stalker, be it a Storm Spirit, you're jumping the backline, that's great, but you're not
Bakal
locking down
diambil kan
the
Aegis-nya.
Wyvern, and also
Aegis-nya
your
diambil sama
force teams kind of
Mopling,
chase
sama
you into this
Aghanimnya
choke
diambil
point.
sama
And like in this
si OP.
engagement, the Sven, the
Toronto
Mars, Storm, they
Tokyo.
all kind of jump onto where the Hoodwink was
Sumpah nih
located.
orang kepikiran dari
With the
mana
Wyvern,
nickname-nya
he's playing
Toronto
on the high ground
Tokyo.
there, under his
Keren
own vision
anjir.
with Obs and Sentry. So he's able to get that perfect cold embrace, able to get then the Winter
Sedangkan
Skies,
nickname gua aja
forcing
Rhapsody.
Omni to get spells off, but we're not seeing the Arena and the Egg combo. And then like you mentioned, the Storm just instantly dies. So yeah, for sure, the cleanliness of fight right now from Empire isn't really helping them out, and Spirit just making sure they always have good vision, they're positioned really well.
Cleanliness.
Yes.
So you don't like their hygiene in this?
No, yes, yeah.
Okay.
It's not up to scratch for sure.
Interesting. I've never heard anybody describe a fight like that.
Have you not? Like a clean fight is like
Oh yeah, a
the
clean
beauty
fight,
of-
but not the cleanliness of that fight. I've
Well,
never.
yeah, I mean, we could. That's going to be the next graphic that JJ creates. You know, the dirtiness of a fight.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a good idea.
You like that? Yeah.
Yeah, I do like that.
Scale of like, you know, yeah. No. Oh well.
Ini misalkan Morpling-nya nggak akan ada yang bisa nge-kill sih. Udah susah banget nge-kill Morpling-nya.
Well, I mean,
He is top net worth, but this is a hero that just farms out of control. You want to be up by a decent margin, right?
Spread-nya OTW sekali juga.
That's true. That's kind of an all in Dota, right? Having the advantage is pretty helpful.
Well, I mean, it feels like you can't win if you're not at it.
No, yeah.
Oh, Sataniknya udah jadi, Satanik udah jadi, Skadi udah jadi tadi ya.
The thing is why I think Sven has not become a hero that is
Marsnya udah punya
number one
Satanik
in the
sama
entire pack right
BKB
now
juga.
is because he has
Sven-nya
this awkward
OTW
moment in the
Skadi.
game where when items come into play, it's easy to kite them, right? You can buy the Halberd if you want, you buy your own BKB, you buy Blink, Glimmer's Force, like you're a hero that doesn't have great attack speed, so now suddenly you need a little bit of help. Like there's so many things for the hero to have the perfect game that when it gets very close, when it's on the cusp,
Smiling
you need
Knight,
that perfect
mantap,
initiation. And
Mas
like
Bro.
heroes like Wyvern and Axe, they can really play around with you going into the later portion of the game. So the fact that it is very tied up, it honestly feels like Spirit's like got an extra 10k in the bank right now just because of how close.
Masih war-war di atas dia
I mean, the last couple
dari
minutes it's
tim-tim
been
ininya.
about a 6K net worth
Masih
swing,
pada di
I wanna
atas
say.
tim
Still
Spirit.
within reach for Team Empire,
Oh
of
ini dia
course, but
networknya.
keep in mind, if they lose this,
Networknya
they're
udah
out
berubah
first,
banget
so
ke tim
elimination game
ini
for
sih,
them,
tim Spirit.
elimination
Tadinya kan
series
tim Empire
overall.
mendominasi, tapi sekarang
Sven
dibalik
now has his
di comeback.
Scotty.
Udah kuat banget ini dari
Just
Morpling-nya
trying to
sendiri.
do
Taro has his own.
Yeah. But this is very much like he's itemizing for him to fight Morphling, and he has to hope his team finds Wyvern.
Ada smoke di sana, ada 5 orang smoke tapi udah ketahuan kayaknya. Ada sentry juga soalnya.
You need to get rid of that threat at the start of the fight. If you don't,
Dipancing-pancing aja.
a game-ending.
Oh, bukan sentry cuy itu.
Yeah, look at all these
Sentry
sentries here.
sih.
And there's vision in every
Tapi
point
dibuat
of that
dua
lineup.
juga.
Every single
Ngapain
lane
dia
has
buat
a
dua?
dire observer.
They have a decent idea
Iya,
that they're here.
masih
Smiling
pada
Knight
di
shows
hutan
himself
sembunyi-sembunyi
now. There's the
saja.
collapse initiation into
Langsung
the
majuin,
E-Blade
nah,
with the
langsung.
sharpshooter and the Sonic Wave. Not even needed, in fact. Collapse gets credit for that
Awas
one.
telurnya
Egg is
pecah
placed
jadi
on
telur
high ground
ceplok
and
itu.
Team Spirit's just gonna walk away. So 70 seconds with no Mars.
And he had the BKB as
Ih,
well.
mainnya
I mean,
nyantai
initially,
banget,
as the
kakinya ke
E-Blade was
atas
coming
udah
in,
kayak di
he
warteg.
had the choice to potentially mitigate some of that damage, but no, he just tanked it.
Yeah.
And that's now going to be a racks down. This is one very hard kill to Morphling to kill, sorry.
Oh yeah, for sure. Ooh, gets the E-Blade off, but there's initiation out from Smiling Knight, but
Kena situ nggak akan mati kan, gue bilang nggak akan mati, sumpah. Susah nge-killnya, nge-kill Morphling tuh susah, udah susah. Tuh kan dia masih bertahan, dimajuin lagi ya Allah. Nah mati juga, tapi dia masih punya Aegis.
Toronto Tokyo again already used his Sonic Wave, so I don't even think they can get this melee racks now.
Udah keras kan.
The real question is if they respect the fact that
Tadi
Sven
harus
does still have
digebuk-gebukin sama
strength,
Sven-nya
right?
juga.
Without the Aegis, they might be a little bit more careful, but Itoro
Tapi
doesn't really
tadi
care.
kenapa dimajuin
Comes right back
lagi
in.
ya? Malah jadi pecah loh, sayang banget.
Okay.
Dia udah
They
punya
will get it.
Ethereal
Not-
juga OTW
well,
ini.
actually was denied. Ooh.
OTW
Good thought
BKB.
there. That's a good tip. That is a clean tip.
Yeah.
Because you know you just get a free racks. you're kind of giggling at the fact that they picked Sven 2 games in a row and Collapse. He's really metagaming this. Ooh, refresher orb. Hello. Look at the reaction.
Halo, bro.
Stone Cold Tipper.
That is sexy. Yeah, that's a
TP aja langsung axe-nya ke bottom lane. Buat majuin lane-nya juga kan. Lane-nya nggak maju juga soalnya dari tadi. Jadi susah nge-push-nya mereka.
And for some heroes, right, you are
Diwarin aja.
having that impact. And I like the fact that
Enggak.
with the fact that Shard's not in play
Oh,
anymore,
gua kira mau
you are
diwarin
just
soalnya.
an initiator, right? And now if you have this double cool factor, you can initiate on one, cool, refresh, go in
Langsung ada
deeper,
smoke
and you just keep
555-nya,
chaining your way.
semuanya
So, yeah, I
satu
like
RT.
kind of creativity here with the refresher.
5-man smoke by Empire now.
They do hit the scan onto Team Spirit, so they know they're
Masih
in
belum
the area.
kelihatan, nggak ada ward juga kan di situ.
Thank you.
And Team Spirit, absolutely no. Oh, on the high ground, in fact.
Oh, kelihatan di atas ada suaranya, coy. Salah. Nah, dibalikin smoke cuma si Morphling-nya doang sama QOP-nya yang nggak ikut smoke. Tapi punya DD. Morphling-nya punya DD. Sengaja Morphling-nya yang buka karena dia bisa tahan badan juga kan, udah sakit bisa tahan badan, langsung rata QOP-nya langsung maju di situ. Telur. Oh, Mars-nya buka arena langsung. Iya, Winter Wyvern-nya mati tapi buyback. Masih ada mati Morphling-nya tadi. Di Sunray juga kan, di Sunray langsung didatangin Storm Spirit juga kan. Wyvern-nya udah buyback tadi.
Wow, that's blunt.
I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. Bossman collapsed, mate. He got a refresher, right? He was hitting the double core. He had both the cores locked down.
Sini Wyvern-nya belum jadi item apa-apa loh, baru Blink Dagger doang.
Therefore, removing all that additional damage and just allowing them to basically survive. So unfortunately for Spirit, one misplay from Baposhka breaks down that fight, and now Empire with a little bit more confidence.
Langsung diperangin lagi, QOP-nya maju ke depan. Nah, Storm Spirit-nya juga ngincer belakang backline-nya juga. Winter Wyvern-nya dieback lagi. Nah, double kill. Enggak. Oh, enggak. Dimundurin, nggak ada mana, bro. Oh, kena. Sama QOP-nya mati juga. Nah, Storm Spirit-nya mati, tapi dia masih ada buyback. Dibuka aja BKB-nya langsung TP dia, selamat. Alhamdulillah masih selamat, ketawa aja dia.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, this game's looking pretty close now. But you can see how Team Spirit, they have so much damage to kill heroes. It's great. But for Empire, when they start the fight, what
I've yet to see this item.
QOP-nya langsung open, yang opennya QOP-nya loh tadi. Oh enggak, kena ini sih, kena Hoodwing.
And then obviously the stun.
But this is like Empire, not really. It's not a matter of respect. It's like they're trying to push the limits right now. That's very close.
Dia kena Hoodwing tadi, langsung mati juga kan. Emang sih paling BTN itu finishnya, coy. Lagi nggak ada carry-nya kan, nggak ada carry satu, nggak ada support satu.
Looks like it's on Omni Knight.
Dan dari tim Empire seneng banget main spam di safe lane. Dijadiin carry juga kan. Jadi safe lane sama si offlane-nya Mars.
No, they still have one neutral item available on Team Spirit, so maybe they get blessed with the Witchbane.
It looks like they get the tier 3 at the very least. Empire does not want to buy back here.
Langsung dagger aja ngeblink dia mundur.
So it looks like things are going to reset here, but 8K net
karena Phoenix-nya hidup, dia buyback ya. Iya kan, benar buyback.
That's the type of
Storm Spirit-nya juga hidup lagi.
Neutral items could be argued as like a terrible concept in Dota because it's like against Omni Knight if you get it, it's game winning.
Lihat 208 plus 137 itu agility-nya dari Morphling. Langsung dinyalain aja, tapi jauh juga tim Spirit dari jangkauan tim Empire.
Contention of being the item that could be, we probably need to remove this because like you have this big OE cleanse of, oh god, I don't know that again, purge. Shout out to Purge, he's here by the way.
The cleanliness of this item off the charts.
Very clean. But yeah, like the concept of it could be very disruptive for the state of kind of the game.
Nggak jadi dia, masih ngecek Roshan yang ketiga. Oh, langsung di open sama Storm Spirit, tapi kayaknya blunder, malah Storm Spirit yang mati, tapi masih punya buyback dia. Omni Knight-nya nggak akan mati dia. Emang nyebelin. Oh, dimajuin sama QOP-nya mati juga. Masih punya buyback juga 2. Langsung ke Roshan, kayaknya bakal buyback nih. Some Spirit.
I don't think you can, right? Look at the state of the map. You don't have outpost control. You don't have any
Comeback,
tier
bro.
2 tower, out of tier 1 towers. We get to
Dari
see a
tim
replay,
Spirit.
though. Storm just jumping it.
Blunder ini,
BKB,
blunder banget.
very quick on the Orchid.
Dia
Like,
majuin
look at this,
duluan.
there's no vision here. This is
Nggak
him
ada
just
vision,
running
berani
out.
majuin
I just
dia.
have a feeling, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, getting the Aghanim Scepter.
Now this is a refreshing inventory, am I right? You know,
right. This is to counteract all the status resistance. Now that you have like 1.5 duration.
Tapi ini yang emang Smiling Knight nih dari tadi megang networknya bagus terus coy. Dia, walaupun emang timnya kalah tapi dia megang network. Tapi jauh Storm Spiritnya ke Storm Spirit aja jauh tuh, beda berapa? 13.000 ya? Gila. Siapa yang mau nyari spend coba? Susah kan buat di kill juga kan. Nggak ada yang ganggu dia farming jadinya.
You know, purge off the Orchid, play some Dota. But because he's going in first, that's what's making it look bad. So right now, Empire, they've got a nice timing. They just
Satu
make
barak
sure they
lagi.
send in the right hero first.
Oh, Morphling already had the strength morph going, so he's gonna
Oh,
brush this
Morphlingnya
off
masih
like
dipukul-pukulin
nothing's
tuh,
happening.
lihat udah
Actually
dipukul-pukulin
dodged
aja
the
masih
Spirit
keras
as well,
banget.
So that's 2 racks and there's no tier 3 here. So this might
Lihat
be the
tuh
final stand for
dipukul-pukulin
Empire in
masih
this tournament,
keras loh
potentially.
sumpah.
There's the
Nah,
call.
dapat
You can
aksnya
see
langsung
every time
majuin.
we use the
Storm
refresher
Spiritnya
here
juga
on
majuin
Clash,
dibuka
gets the
aja arena
BKB out.
langsung.
He's actually taking so much damage though. Has to
Masih
walk
dimajuin
out
lagi
of
dong
the
sama
Mars arena. There's the
Morphlingnya.
GA finally, but
Ada telur
Clash
juga,
Kid
ada
gets
telur di
bursted
sana, ada
down.
telur di sana
Buyback
belum
in the game.
meledak.
Now
Tapi
the
mati
Aegis is
juga dari
down
Morphlingnya.
for the
Morphlingnya masih punya
And the jumping, he's
Aegis
completely
langsung
surrounded.
mundur kayaknya.
Looks like he'll be
Toronto
successful
Tokyo-nya
getting out.
juga
The
maju.
Toronto
Nah,
Tokyo
balik-balik,
looks like he was
bolak-balik
fine,
pusing
as
tuh
is.
Storm Spirit.
Winter's Curse keeps them in place, and there's the call to follow. They're gonna burst down the Mars.
Aksnya di Eul mati, buyback juga dari Sven sama Mars. Langsung dimajuin lagi, ditarik aja. Masih punya darah banyak juga, langsung dibuka lagi ya Mas Sven. Masih bisa kabur. Tapi di situ aksnya sekarat cuy. Oh, bisa mati ini aksnya. Blunder dari aks dia maju. Tapi dia punya buyback. Aks punya buyback nggak? Oh, punya.
Yeah, you do use a couple refreshes, but that was a lot of buyback.
Belum sih. Kayaknya nggak akan di buyback. Bakal sabar dulu. Refresh lagi.
The state of the
Diulang
game
lagi.
is a product of Empire's misplay. Like this isn't like Spirit making any great, like amazing moves or anything. Like they're playing very good, solid Dota, but it's Empire. The storm zipping in, dying. Now they have to reset. They have to buy back. And
Tuh,
of
lihat
course, when
kan
you give
tadi
away Aegis,
Sven-nya
like,
mukul-mukulin
Rokan is
si
critical
siapa
in these
namanya
games.
Morphling,
So
nggak ada
for sure,
rasanya
Empire
cuy.
having to deal with
Terus
their own,
beberapa
like,
kali
own
harus
mistakes
di-gank
and
sama 3 orang baru mati dia
yeah,
Morphling.
they just need to
Untungnya masih
get
punya
back
Aegis
out on
juga
the
kan.
map. Maybe find a pick
Terus
off
dia
of
juga
Axe
ada
instead,
ini,
chain a
ada
couple
buyback
kills.
juga.
Like if they find the Poshka here, they now can maybe
Networknya
look
udah beda
towards
jauh
the
ini.
triangle. If they find the triangle, you know, you own the entire map. But this is going to be a big uphill battle. And we are yet to see them just.
Oh, sama Morphling aja udah beda 16.000.
And that's the value of Aegis.
Sama Morphling udah beda 16.000.
Dari
Dari tadi ini dari 2 tim ini yang mencolok tuh ininya ya. Apa namanya? Safe lane, carry safe lane-nya, bukan midnya. Yang gendong-gendong tuh. Toronto Tokyo dari tadi juga belum terlalu kelihatan sih dari game pertama juga.
We need to look at Sven as a hero that like a reason why a core is good is because it can be your win condition. It opens you up to having a moment in the game. Sven has that, but unlike a Spectre or like these bigger heroes that independently like if I
Lihat gampang banget deh, makanya dia networknya stabil tuh Sven-nya. Dia gampang banget buat nge-clear lane, buat nge-farming, keras juga. Jadi nggak ada yang berani nge-kill dia coy. Ngapain nge-kill dia, buang-buang waktu, mending nyari siapa, Omni naiknya kah, Phoenix-nya lah, Storm Spirit-nya juga bisa di-kill. Tapi kalau buat mikir si Sven, mikir lagi kayaknya orang-orang dari tim Spirit tuh. Bakal beli sepatu teleport kayaknya. Nah, Marsnya mau buat clear rush. Udah ada BKB juga, udah ada BKB Satanic. Oh, tadi mana si ininya? Sven-nya udah jadi itu Arcane Boot, Arcane Blink. Arcane Boot, salahkan gue. Sedangkan dari Winter Wyvern-nya belum jadi apa-apa, masih networknya 8.000 loh. Langsung dimajuin emang. Storm Spirit majuin langsung dibuka arenanya juga di situ. Toronto Tokyo sekarat juga langsung mati aja dari axe-nya. Tapi dia ada buyback juga sih. Blunder.
Without his BKB and isn't dying. Like when he gets the BKB, Empire's gonna have like.
Emang main Storm Spirit tuh harus berani-berani buka juga sih, tapi harus ada backupnya kan. Kalau nggak ada backupnya kayak tadi apa namanya yang di White Roshan yang kedua tuh mati jadinya si Storm Spirit. Misalkan ada si Mars langsung di open arena kontes susah. Storm Spirit bisa datang kabur lagi. Di sini Toronto Tokyo-nya berhasil selamat dari arena ya, tadi langsung ngebling dia. Oh, ada Phoenix situ, keikat aja Phoenixnya sekarat di situ, langsung ada Toronto Tokyo di Eul aja. Dimainin dulu dong.
That's true. Yeah, that is actually pretty big. That's 2 minutes with no Phoenix.
Mantap kombonya nih, trio.
Yeah, but Team Spirit, I mean, they don't have Axe as well.
Span-nya nggak ada. Span Mars, Storm Spirit-nya udah nggak ada buyback juga cuy. Sama Phoenix-nya gue udah nggak ada buyback.
I didn't notice he had Octarine, but
tangan dari tim Spirit ada semua kecuali Axe. Langsung dimajuin sama Storm Spirit, ya dibuka lagi arenanya masih. Yang kekunci siapa itu? Oh, langsung dibuka, dimajuin lagi dong. Dia buka BKB, ngancurin Barak. Barak lebih berharga kayaknya. Tapi nggak tahu, tuh lihat dipukul-pukulin sama 3 orang kan. Nggak ada rasanya juga. Nah, Winter Wyvern-nya langsung ke Storm Spirit, mati. Langsung dimajuin lagi sama Axe-nya. Tuh lihat span-nya. Nggak ada yang nyari span kan. Capek soalnya. Tapi di situ ada Phoenix juga, langsung dibuka BKB dari KOP-nya. Langsung masuk ke belakang. Dia nyari siapanya, nyari Phoenix-nya. Langsung telur ternyata. Masih mati, nggak bisa selamat. Di situ ada stun, tapi nggak kena siapa-siapa, mati kayaknya. Dimenangkan sama tim Spirit, bro. GG.
Yeah, well deserved from Team Spirit. They play with that aura of confidence and they kind of know
comeback ya, padahal yang pertama tuh yang pertama menang tim Empire, sekarang tim Spirit dibalikin toh. Mantap.
They have played so well in the group stage to be able to escape it. A team, I think most people, they're coming from the qualifiers, you expected them not to do that well, but they got to the playoffs and like they were just missing that extra little of something like that. The storm zipping in to the enemy triangle.
Nanti habis ini ada di upper bracket, yaitu Virtus Pro lawan PSG LGD. Oke.
Unfortunately, they aren't able to ever get Aegis in this series. They aren't able to really kind of utilize that timing. So just Spirit just looking a little bit.
Oke, thank you yang udah nonton walaupun sepi ya. Tapi nggak tahu sih PSG LGD kayaknya gue nge-live lagi apa enggak? Live lagi ya? Live lagi nggak ya? Tapi gue masih kuat sih. Cuma sepi cuy, nggak ada yang nemenin juga, nggak ada yang apa-apa. Pada lihat challenge sebelah nggak ada yang dukung channel gue. Channel baru atau santuy aja sih.
And like the fact that we get to see them at this level, it is refreshing. Like this was the first team I really watched when I started playing Dota, so it is exciting to still.
Ya, abis ini ada Virtus Pro lawan PSG LGD, sekarang dimenangin sama tim Spirit 2-0 langsung dibablas ya. Lawan tim Empire.
Yeah, let's see what this.
Berarti say goodbye to team Empire. Jangan di lower bracket, dia langsung gugur.
We're gonna have to go to break.
Say goodbye. Don't be sad, thank you, GGWP lah, GGWP, P. Oke, jangan lupa di subscribe guys yang lagi nonton.
Hi, my name is Suli. My handle is Snix. I think it's important for these initiatives to
abis ini
happen.
ada PSG LGD lawan Virtus Pro. Oke, thank you.
I encourage everyone in the community, anytime they see bullying, anytime they see someone getting called names, I encourage you to step up and say something.
Kita stop dulu, langsung kita mulai stream baru ya. Biar mantep. Oke.